in-game esports South Asia Cup Dota 2 Championship. Bangladesh, India, Maldives, Nepal, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, $1,500 prize pool. Be crowned kings of South Asian Dota. Organized by In-Game Esports, powered by Intel.
Hello and welcome everyone to the IGE South Asia Cup online powered by Intel. I'm your caster Nightblade and with me is Terror.
Hi guys, so we do have the playoffs starting today and the first game is going to be between Global Esports and myRevenge. It's going to be a really interesting matchup. Of course, coming into the match, I think Global Esports are definitely the stronger team. They have been very dominant and it looks like no one can actually take them down.
Yeah, it looks like they're like, I think by far the strongest team. I mean, there are names like Crowley, Blizzard. I mean, all those names are so high skill players, man.
Yeah, those guys have been around for like ages from Dota 1 days itself, and they have just been kept on like improving over the years. And we might actually have a South Asia team in TI. The way things are going, I mean, you have the likes of Crowley, Swifty, Blizzard. These guys are really good, and they are not average players. They are immortal top 500. You know, I think there is 120 something on one of the guys as well, immortal. So I mean, these guys have that potential to take that next leap forward.
Yeah, I think that they just need a little bit more of a push, maybe a little more interaction with the international crowd. You know, and then I mean, which they're doing like. For the past year, I think they've been playing a lot more internationally, and they're really standing out in terms of South Asia teams.
Yeah, and of course we do have a lot of awards in the tournament as well. You have the MVP award, which is the Intel NUC, and we have awards for the Unkillable.
Yeah, Unkillable
player, top support, and as well as the Gamer's Choice, the player of choice from all the people who are watching actually, who you all will be voting for actually. Y'all are the ones who are going to be voting for the Gamer's Choice Award. So those guys are going to be walking away with the HyperX Cloud too.
Yeah, and as well, I mean, the MVP will get the NUC as well as the HyperX Cloud. So that guy's going to be really lucky.
Yeah, man. I don't mind being the tournament MVP. Sadly, we're not good enough. That's why we are casters.
That's true. I mean, we both love the game, so we would also love to be, at this high level. But, these players have trained almost every day for hours and hours. So they're, they deserve to be here.
Yes, for sure. I mean, like you need to play a minimum of 8 to 10 hours a day to be that good.
Yeah.
And that's the level of commitment that even the international scene that you're putting. You see the top tier international teams like OG or EG or SACO, they put in a lot of time, and when you look into the schedule, they're putting 10 hours per day into their gaming time, and that's exactly what teams like Global Esports are doing right now. They're trying to get to that level.
And as you can see, we're in the draft now. Global Esports picking up Enchantress and Tiny at the first two picks, so very strong combination.
Well, I mean, we saw it during TI. It's so strong. Ench is probably one of Ench and Tiny, I think. They're such a strong combination. Ench is basically one of the unkillable heroes right now.
Actually
unkillable.
So difficult to kill her. Like as soon as she uses her Nature's Intendants, it's so hard to kill her. She heals for so much HP. It's ridiculous.
And you need heroes like Lezrak to deal with it, and Lezrak is technically a hero that gets banned first phase. We see a lot of people running that hero, and it's one of the best counters for the Enchantress. And Tiny, we saw that it can be run as a position 4, it can be run as a mid, it can be run as an off lane.
Very versatile.
Exactly. So you pick it up in the first phase and people are like, oh, that might be a mid Tiny.
That was actually myRevenge getting up the Enchantress Tiny, and Global Esports have Naga Siren and Earth Spirit. So that's a
bit of a kind of a weird opening. I mean, we don't see people opening up with Naga Siren Earth Spirit.
Exactly. Especially that Naga Siren hero, because that hero just gets countered by so many different, especially by this Tiny. Like these days when Tinys they get Aghanim Scepter most of the time, especially if you're a core Tiny. So you can easily deal with these illusions that Naga puts forth. So it might be a little bit hard for them.
I mean, the tree volley is just insane amount of damage, and you just need Echo Saber, Aghanims, and then you get like 1 damage item. Naga has no chance.
Yeah, 1 Crystallis, and then it slows you. I mean, the Echo Saber applies, right? So then it slows you, it crits you, and you're very sad.
Strangely enough, both teams have left out Elder Titan, which I think does really well against heroes like the Ench as well as the Tiny. It's a really good hero, so bit worried. I mean, Global Esports had the opportunity to actually pick up that ET against the Ench when they initially went into the first picking phase. But both teams decided to let it through. We might see it from Global Esports in the second phase because that hero is really good and it played as a position 5, so it doesn't really get into the whole Earth Spirit because Earth Spirit is a position 4.
Oh, and we see Spirit Breaker being picked up by myRevenge. That hero being a very pub hero. Like that hero, this patch has been, I mean, everyone picks it in pubs now because it's very easy to play. It does so much, it gives you vision when you're chasing someone. It's so tanky in the lane, so then it just provides a lot of pressure onto your enemies.
Yeah, and of course, if the Dota gods are in your favor, the 70% dash definitely goes in your favor, and that hero is really strong actually. And during TI also, I think we saw 1 or 2 games with Spirit Breaker. I think OG ran it once, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and we saw it during group stage actually. Main stage we did not see the hero at all.
I think Elder Titan just took over after that. It was just like Elder Titan or Shadow Demon, you know, or one of these tiny position for something that is more. There we go, the Shadow Demon, which I was talking about. It just pairs really well with the Naga as well. The most important reason I think they picked Shadow Demon was because it does, with that his second skill, there's so much damage to heroes like Tiny and Spirit Breaker, even Ench. You want to burst someone down quickly, you get the Soul Catcher. Yeah,
Soul Catcher is so strong, and I saw in a couple of games where they actually skilled Soul Catcher first instead of Poison or Disruption. And initially I thought it was very weird, but then I saw the amount of damage that it does.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And this gives them an opportunity to pick a core Mirana if they really want to, because it's pretty open right now. And I mean, see, we can see a Darkseid being picked up by myRevenge here. So I don't think there's any Oracle going to be picked up by Global though.
This is a very cheese lineup though, right? Because Darkseid Spirit Breaker is a very strong combination. You just run at heroes at minute 1 with Iron Shell on yourself, and it does so much of damage. But the thing is, people have played against this, you know how to deal with it, and I feel like Global Esports is not a team that you can just cheese and win.
Yeah, I agree. Or maybe that's the only way you win, you know? It could be the other way around as well. But what's weird about this Darkseid pick is that now this Enchantress is going to be played as a position 5, I guess. But
or mid?
I mean, you don't really see it mid. You don't really want to play it mid because I feel like it doesn't have any pressure in the lane. Like most mid heroes will have a lot of pressure in the lane because until you hit level 6, you don't have that, you know, burst damage from Enchantress. Like you really want to stay in the side lanes, you know, just farm as much as you can. And when you hit 6, any of the carry heroes can't really stay in the lane anymore because of your impetus.
We can see a bit of greed where they put the Darkseid into the jungle if they really want to, but I feel like that is very weird to have the Darkseid inside jungle. It takes way too long, and that hero needs a lot of farm. Darkseid is one of those offlaners who does nothing until the hero has farm, because you need your Greaves, you need your pipe to be viable during team fights, because back wall is just not enough. You need those utility items, and to get that you need a lot of farm. So they have to lane this hero. They cannot just put it in the jungle.
Yeah. So this Beastmaster being picked up by Global Esports shows that they want to play this game and win the game at around 30 minutes, because they you know this Naga is going to get her farm. You know there's nothing to really contest her. Maybe the Tiny can contest her in the lane a little bit, but if she does get her Wraithband in the lane and her treads, she'll just go to the jungle and just keep farming for like a long time until 20 minutes, and as soon as it hits 20 minutes, Beastmaster might have an Necro Book, and then they just win the game off of that Diffusal and Manta.
Naga is very strong, and they have banned out the Ember as well as the OD. I think OD is another hero that deals very well with Ench. I mean Naga. And Ember is also another hero. So both heroes being banned out, one by Global Esports and one by myRevenge. And Leshrac also is another really good hero in dealing with Naga, especially against Naga. PL, you see it picked up as a counter pick all the time. Last ban from Global Esports being the Slark. I feel like it would have been a really good pick for myRevenge, because they need to play at a higher pace, because they cannot let this Naga free farm. So they want that Slark. If they had the Slark, you get drums, Diffusal, and you just run at heroes from that point. Because
and it deals with the illusions early on, before she gets like the heart and maybe the butterfly or something. Like the Dark Pact already just removes so many of the illusions. So it's easy for the Slark to play around the Naga early in the game. So I think that's a decent ban.
And synergizes really well with Darkseid and Spirit Breaker.
The Iron Shell is always good on melee units.
And Spirit Breaker being able to just give vision everywhere, Slark is going to be able to gank easily.
So then they have one more pick here. It's going to be the mid, most probably. So what do you think is going to be amazing here for myRevenge?
No, for Global Esports.
Oh, and there we see the Kunkka being picked up.
I feel like this is a really good hero against this early ganking lineup from myRevenge, because you have the board buff. Kunkka is a really hard hero to kill, and then he's so tanky, you get one or two braces and you're basically unkillable afterwards.
Yeah.
And Kunkka really, he kind of gets into his own. You won't have to worry about the Kunkka getting ganked after he picks up one or two braces.
Yeah, it's like just for the Spirit Breaker, so he cannot he doesn't have the option to really gank mid, like they have to like think about it for a little while and be like, maybe I need the Iron Shell level 2, maybe I need whoever's going mid, maybe the Tiny to have at least level 3 Avalanche with level 2 toss, then you might be able to kill the Kunkka, you know. So it gives less options for myRevenge.
So the last pick was the Sven from myRevenge, which is really good. You can deal with the Naga easily.
Yeah.
But later on in the game, right, you go past 30 minutes, then the Sven starts to get kited by the Naga.
That's
because
true.
even though you have a lot of burst damage and a lot of damage, you just net the guy and you just keep him in one place and you just kill everyone around you and then come into the Sven afterwards. And then you have Beastmaster from Global Esports to control the Sven.
Not only Beastmaster, you have the Shadow Demon already.
Shadow Demon, yeah.
That's the biggest deal for the Sven. I mean, as soon as you purge him through BKB, then he's very sad. He can't really reach the illusions for the Naga, so the Naga will probably avoid the Sven and kill everyone else. Yeah. So I don't really like the pick that much, to be honest, by myRevenge.
But I feel like myRevenge is on a timer here.
Yeah.
Sven is only bad because if it goes very late, the Sven becomes very useless in this match. But with the pace that myRevenge is looking to play at, I feel like they can actually bring the fight to Global Esports within the first 15 to 20 minutes. I think their timing is going to be between that 15 to 20 minutes where they are pushing towers and just winning fights completely.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit of a hard game since this Naga seems like they have answers for the Naga, but Global Esports also have answers to the answers.
Yeah.
So I think it just depends on execution right now. It depends on how frequently they get good ganks off with the Spirit Breaker. If they're successful ganks, then that might give them the momentum that you talked about, where they can take the towers and pressure the Naga enough so that she's not an issue. But unless these Spirit Breaker ganks really work out, I think it's going to be really hard for them.
And I feel like the Kunkka pick also, they were expecting it, right, for the most part, because now myRevenge has an actual problem of diving towers just because the Kunkka, you have the board buff, gives you so much sustain during these initial dives from myRevenge. So myRevenge is definitely not going to have easy fights. They need to be playing this very well. They need to, their movements around the map has to be on point, because if they get caught out in a bad position where the Kunkka TPs in and gets off a torrent board combiner, even the hero that you're going on might not die just because of the board buff.
Yeah, so then I think this is an Ench mid, I mean an Ench 5 or maybe a Tiny mid. I think it's a Tiny mid. So then this Ench is going to be playing 5 most probably, and I really don't like the Ench 5 too much. It might be okay. It's pretty good against the Naga illusions, having a position 5, being able to like take over one of those illusions. But like in the lane and stuff, she's not the strongest hero, especially with the enchant not doing, I mean, it's okay, but it doesn't do as much damage as the heroes nowadays, like even Crystal Maiden and Bane and those sort of heroes. This has abilities you can spam out that does a lot of burst damage and keeps the offlaner off of your carry in the lane. But this Sven is going to have a little bit of a hard time just because this Ench cannot pressure the Beastmaster and probably the Spirit.
Yeah, and I feel like, I mean, they ran Ench, we have seen Ench 5, it's not, I think, who was it during TI? I think it was again during group stages. I think it was Note who ran Ench 5, and there was one other team, I think it was Sacred, where Puppy ran it. And I mean, it worked.
Yeah,
it did, but against the lineup that Global Esports has, I feel like you said, the laning stage is going to be very sad. Meanwhile, we do have a small rune flight. The Sven Stormbolt flies out onto the Beastmaster a little bit too early here, actually, but they are beating into him, and they might actually be able to get this kill. That is first blood going towards myRevenge. They're going to be very happy with this, and we do see a chase on A35 here. They are trying to chase him off the rune, the roll in, and will he be able to steal the rune? No, he does not get it. A valiant effort from him. For a moment, it looked like he will
go down here.
Yeah. Oh, the juke around the trees. Might be able to get away if the Sven actually commits the Stormbolt. He might actually do this. The slow is there from the Enchantress. They do have the Stormbolt. They need to be waiting for that roll. Oh, that's so much of damage, and that is 2 kills going towards myRevenge from this rune.
Yeah, I think that was a very bad engagement coming from Global Esports. They should know that this Enchantress right clicks if they don't have a creep wave, because this Enchantress, if she gets enchant level 1 and she tries to harass, the creeps will actually hit her really hard because she has very low HP pool and she can't really deal with creeps early on. So they have to really play around that, and they cannot really man fight these two heroes without the creeps.
What do you think about the Tiny versus Kunkka matchup mid? Who do you think this favors more?
So I think they're just gonna farm for the most part, right? Unless this Tiny gets a good toss into the tower in the early levels, which could happen. But other than that, I don't think either one has enough burst to kill each other until maybe he has boat or something like that. But I think the CS advantage might go towards the Kunkka. Just because he has, Tidebringer. But it doesn't affect denies obviously, but he won't, Tiny with that huge damage won't be able to deny against Kunkka, I feel like.
Meanwhile, top lane, we do have an engagement onto the Shadow Demon. He has poison and does not have the disruption.
He has 4 stacks on the Spirit Breaker.
He needs to be careful. Time goes up. That's the 5th one, but I don't think he has enough to burst.
Yeah, he doesn't, but he really need to be careful as soon as that 5th proc hits any of the heroes.
I think with Soul Catcher, if the Shadow Demon had Soul Catcher there, I think it's
dead. Probably. Yeah.
And they are just trying to pressure this Naga and the Shadow Demon a lot, but I think they need levels on the Darkseer as well as the Spirit Breaker. I think level 2 on Spirit Breaker with at least level 3 Iron Shell, then they will be able to do a lot against the Shadow Demon and then
and that deny Kunkka just doing a little bit, like a few damage less than he really wanted to. And we see our Spirit pulling the creeps here, doing a good job because they really want to not take too much damage from this Earth Spirit, and as soon as they get a few levels in this lane, they're going to be really good, but for now they're a little bit, starved for farm. And this is a really, really good move by 835 because they really needed that after the two kills they gave away at the start.
Meanwhile, we do see top lane, the Shadow Demon getting pressured quite a bit here. Spirit Breaker running into him. He does have the surge as well with the Iron Shell. This might be a kill on top lane and they will be able to get it. No, the Fairy Fire trying to survive, but the Iron Shell will take him down, and the last hit there onto the Shadow Demon. That is Nirvana going to be taking that kill.
Yeah, and I mean that's super good for myRevenge now. Like they're really showing the pressure that they need to put, like we talked about earlier, that they need to be getting kills early game. They need to build this momentum because they don't want this Naga to just get out of control.
Yep. They definitely need to, but I think as long as they keep the Shadow early levels, I don't think they can just kill the Naga just like that. They need definitely they need +1 hero to kill the Naga. So they're doing what they can. They will keep killing the Shadow Demon to the point that Spirit Breaker gets a little bit of farm. And if you see, Spirit Breaker did not even give that kill to Shadow Demon, which he could have. The Darkseer, which he could have done, but he wanted that kill because you want that Spirit Breaker to get a few items early on to be effective in that mid game.
Yeah, so as you can see, they keep pulling the creeps here in this bot lane to secure the farm for the Beastmaster, since Enchantress can always steal the boar that Beastmaster uses. So I think they just, since they were so behind after the first 2 deaths, they just prefer to stack the creeps here.
Oh, the courier?
That's going to be fine. You need 3 hits at this stage of the game, so they're not really worried about it. So he's going to just stack the creeps and maybe pull it. And so, I mean, Sven doesn't really care about this too much. He's just going to farm here the cleave. He can tank it a little. He's pretty tanky. He's a strength here as well. Probably have the regen as well with that courier coming in. So he's going to be fine.
And meanwhile, top lane, they are diving the Shadow Demon. And if you realized, they had blocked the Enchantress camp.
Yeah.
Because obviously Ench with +1 creep in that lane is going to be a huge problem to the Darkseer.
But it is level 1, so he is not
level 1 without Soul Catcher, just not enough, and they are trying to go on to the Shadow Demon yet again with that Iron Shell, and Spirit Breaker is just running after him, and the Soul Catcher, the disruption is going to be there, but the surge is there. If he can get a bash here, he's looking for a bash, but the poison stacks are building up. He might actually be able to get this kill, and yes he will, but he will go down in return for this. But he's going to be happy with it. He just wants the EXP as well as that little bit extra gold, whatever that he can get.
Exactly, that EXP is really important, and he does get the kill before he dies, so he's going to secure that, and he's pretty happy with that.
Yeah. And mid lane we see the Tiny actually falling behind the Kunkka. Kunkka seems to be very far ahead in last meanwhile top lane. They are trying, bottom lane they are trying to go on the Enchantress, the poison stacks building up, but the Nature's Attendant is that the disruption is going to be there as well. Wild Axes are not going to be there, but the Tiny joins the fight with that Avalanche, keeping the Ench alive for the time being. The Sven joins the fight as well. He has to jump around 2 heroes. The Earth Spirit falling down low, but the was blocked completely, and now the Kunkka wants to join the fight with that torrent into the boat. But can they bring down the Sven? Sven is so tanky, he does get X back. The bow is hitting him as well, bottling, actually it's a Tiny. He does have the Avalanche. Sven is coming from the side. He will have a strong bolt and he is going to be able to get it off on both heroes. But now the slow from the Earth Spirit will hit him and the Tiny will fall down in return by the looks of it. And the taunt is going to hit as well, and that is going to be an easy kill for the Kunkka. Did have to chase for a while, but there was no way that the Tiny was getting out of there.
A good turnaround coming from Swifty. They really needed this because myRevenge were, getting so far ahead. And if that end survived there, with that tiny rotation, it would have been disastrous for the early game. So that Kunkka with a nice rotation, making sure that they don't, just keep this momentum going.
And this is all that Global Esports has to be doing. They don't really want to take, huge fights. They are not expecting to win huge fights, but they are trying to make the best out of the bad situation because the early game is going to be definitely weak. You have heroes like Tiny, you have Spirit Breaker, you have Darkseer, you have Sven, who is basically unkillable early game, and they don't have really heroes to deal with this. So when they dive and they get a return kill, especially a kill like a core like Tiny, they are going to be very happy with it.
Naga actually. She's very sad.
Oh, he baited actually. The illusion, he tried to bait. Now the double answer going to work. The Spirit Breaker and the Darkseer going after the Naga. Naga seems to be really dead here. Blizzard will go down and he just TP'd into the lane, right?
I really don't think, I don't think this Naga is really underestimating the damage that Iron Shell does to all of her illusions. Like, as soon as she uses her illusion, they all just immediately die. And I don't think she's played against this lineup too much for her to understand how quickly it dies, because she's not supposed to even be in the lane right now. She should be in the jungle farming.
Meanwhile, another charge onto the Shadow Demon. They do have the double Iron Shell again. The Shadow Demon is going to be very sad, and he will go down as well. This combination is so strong.
Oh, bot lane.
Bot lane, the Sven with the GS going after the Beastmaster, but Beastmaster is so tanky. Inch with that block, and they will be able to take him down as well. myRevenge actually doing so well in this early game. They are trying to go after the Earth Spirit as well. Earth Spirit does have another roll, but he uses the kick onto the Sven, and he will go down as well. Now the TPs are coming, the Naga as well as the Shadow Demon TPing bottom, but they're not going to be able to get a kill. I mean, they don't have a killing lineup right now.
Yeah, I think the Naga TP'd bottom because she just cannot deal with the top lane right now. She needs to find some place to farm. She needs to get her treads up, and then she can finally go to the jungle and farm. But even now, maybe it's just time for her to go to the jungle because she's dying everywhere she goes right now.
Even bottom lane, I don't think it's a lane that you can survive, because every time that Sven has GS, that Naga is going to die.
Yeah, he doesn't even need GS, because what Naga usually wants to do with her illusions is farm with them, and if you kill them off immediately, then she doesn't get the farm. The farm rate that you usually expect from a Naga gets cut off so much. So you want your illusions to survive and hit creeps. So if it's really easy to stay in the jungle and do that rather than stay in the lane and make your illusions die. So like here, as you see, Sven will just kill off the illusions.
I think, and myRevenge is very smart about things, right? Because they have just kept the Kunkka totally aside, because they know that that's not a kill that they can get. And they are completely ignoring him, putting so much pressure on the Naga, destroying that offlane as well. The Beastmaster hasn't really got anything out of that lane. The two supports on the side of Global Esports are also really suffering here. We can see again, Tiny just gets that pick off onto the Shadow Demon. Easy pickings for the Tiny right now. Kunkka needs to be careful. The Iron Shell as well. Where is the charge from the Spirit Breaker? I don't think the Spirit Breaker had charge again. Might have been on
maybe they didn't want to fight near the shrine, maybe? I'm not sure. Oh, they might be
they're still chasing though. Did they see him? I think they caught vision at the last moment. I think it was too late for the time to just turn around. But Spirit Breaker, if there's a charge, is going to be there, as well as the surge. They are trying to go in the avalanche as well. But can the Kunkka get off the boat? If he gets off the boat, he does get it off. He's going to start for the time being, but no, the Iron Shell damage is too much. And now the TP in from the Spirit Breaker. The Earth Spirit. He wants to go after the Spirit Breaker. Spirit Breaker taking so much of damage, but he is not going to be able to bring him down. And now another Santos combination onto the Earth Spirit. Earth Spirit will go a double kill for the Darkseer. And things are looking actually really bad for Global Esports.
Yeah, it really looks bad. I think they're taking too many. I mean, they're getting chased under towers, and the TPs are just like a tad bit late. Like, he used the boat combination, and after he used the boat is when the TPs started to appear. I don't know if the TPs were on cooldown or not, but I think it was just a really slow reaction.
And they're going to dive again here. They should be diving again. They are going to find the Beastmaster as well. Santos into that combination from the Tiny, and they will get 2 kills. They will get the Shadow Demon as well. And now the Kunkka TP is in again. If the Kunkka dies, this is extremely bad for Global Esports. The Bash as well as the Nether Strike from the Spirit Breaker, they will be able to clean up the Kunkka yet again.
Yeah, I mean, these Spirit Breaker rotations are on point. Like, we knew that they'll be strong with these Spirit Breaker rotations, but we didn't expect them to just roll over Global Esports.
Yeah, because like we spoke before, Global Esports are the strongest team right now in the tournament. They are undefeated, if I'm not mistaken, and they just look extremely strong. And right now, myRevenge is making them look like kids here. Like they're making them look real.
It's like a pub game.
Pub game.
And you can see the replay here, just the Kunkka. See, you can see the Shadow Demon just a little bit late to get the disruption off onto the Kunkka to save him. And then immediately Tiny, knowing that he can turn over this fight, having the presence of mind to do that, getting the double kill on the Darkseer with the Ancho, you know, that happens.
And this is like a dream game for the Tiny because Earthspirit is not a tanky hero inertly, and Shadow Demon is just absolute cheese early game.
Yeah.
And the Avalanche Toss combination is 100% going to kill both these heroes.
Yeah, and also this Kunkka, even though he did have a decent lane, the Spirit Breaker just got too much from getting so many kills along or all over the map that he's the tanky hero that he couldn't kill, that now he can, you know, easily just charge and kill with the support of his teammates.
And these loser stickers everywhere, man, I love these. Like OG started this, like the whole memeing thing, and it has just carried, it makes the game so much more fun. The voice lines, the tipping, everything, you know, it brings in so much, and it's such a mental game, right? And right now Global Esports they're like, what did we do wrong right now? Because they're getting run over, and these guys are memeing along the way as well. This is really going to be getting to them mentally.
Yeah, it might be affecting them quite a bit. And knowing that they haven't lost any matches, and knowing that myRevenge has lost to, like, you know, other teams that were not as good, it must be affecting them quite a bit here. I think they just didn't expect this aggressiveness coming from the Spirit Breaker, because the Spirit Breaker, I think, is playing really well. He's just charging on the map, not caring about anything.
Again, top lane, they are going to go on to the Beastmaster, but immediate TP coming in from the Kunkka, and the Spirit Breaker just, I mean, he's on surge. He's obviously going to be just able to walk away from there, and we see the Darkseer just always behind the Spirit Breaker. While farming the jungle, he just keeps unshelling the Spirit Breaker and surging him. He's just going to be charging around the entire place.
Yeah, and you can see the TP coming from Kunkka. That's what needed to happen early in the game by the supports. They needed to TP that fast for them to actually react to the Spirit Breaker. And, you know, unfortunately, Kunkka is there to maybe get the kill onto the Spirit Breaker.
Yeah, they will be able to clean up this kill, but again, you're losing your Beastmaster for the support Spirit Breaker, and Spirit Breaker doesn't really care about this. He's getting kills, he's creating space. Swen is free farming this entire time, but now what they have to worry about is the Naga Siren, who has been free farming, and meanwhile they are going to go into the Roshan pit. This is so good. This is going to, like, the timing that myRevenge has to hit, they're hitting it. They're hitting it perfectly.
And I think this Naga needs so much more. Like, her farm is just not enough right now. She has the most last hits in the game, but I don't think it's enough. Like, you see the enchanters have this medallion, which helps so much in this game for the Spirit Breaker to just go in and hit these people as much as they want, and also to take Roshan, because they don't have the best rush lineup as well. And with this medallion, this item choice from enchanters is really good, I feel.
Yeah, just itemizing for the team, right? Because we would normally see an enchanter just going for drums or dragon lance or something, even if you're playing support. But this guy understands his role perfectly. He realizes what his team needs, he's going on to the Naga. Naga gets bashed, but again, there is no one to follow. This is just pressure towards the Naga, because Naga always has this fear of being charged down, and it's not like they don't have burst, because Naga will never be able to get the sleep off if the Tiny and the Sven are there to follow up.
Oh, Spirit Breaker might be in trouble here. The Naga does quite a bit of damage, but it is a level 1.
Oh, wow, that was so unfortunate. The Earth Spirit rolling in, getting bashed immediately by the Spirit Breaker. That's a feels bad moment. That should have definitely been a kill onto the Spirit Breaker.
Might still go down here. Earth Spirit is getting close to killing him. Yeah.
The magnetizer, but there is the shrine. Is he going to use it though? Yeah, he's going to prop it, and he is going to be A-okay. I don't think
he's taunting him. Oh no. Okay, they're really getting into their head.
What has OG Esports done to Dota 2?
But I mean, yeah, they do get the T2 top, so a lot more map control coming to myRevenge here, and I feel like the Naga is getting a little bit of space off of this. She has been killed recently, so she is getting a little bit of farm right now, highest last hits in the game. So
high ground is going to be really tough for myRevenge though.
That's what I was gonna say. So the Naga, if she can cut waves properly when they're pushing, like
they might actually take a fight here again. The Earth Spirit gets stun tossed. The avalanche combination is going to be there, and now the Kunkka gets charged up as well. Another strike is going to be there. The Kunkka, if he gets pushed high ground, he didn't get pushed high ground. That's such a feels bad moment for myRevenge. But meanwhile, the vacuum is there as well as the wall. The boat flies out, and he will survive for the time being. The urn is going to be there on the Darkseer, and
sleep coming out from Naga just stops the fight.
Yeah, just resetting things. They realized that the Kunkka was in such a bad position. They want to get the Kunkka out, and
Kunkka was dead if he didn't roll into the high ground. Like honestly, very unfortunate.
when bashes work against you.
I think it was the roar rather than the bash, wasn't it? The Beastmaster.
Yeah, Beastmaster roar, yeah.
But anyway, this gives a little more time for the Naga. They're really happy on the side of Global Esports because right now it stops their push. They really need the Darks here in these fights. Oh, and we see disruption onto the Enchantress here.
Oh, and yeah, he will go down. That's going. Oh no, he's so much of heal though. The one charges as well as the nature's attendants. My God, the untouchable just makes it so hard to kill him, and he's still surviving. I don't think they can get this kill. The Magnite is going to be there. The roll misses completely onto the Enchantress. Enchantress still trying to get away. The nature's attendance is over, but.
Yeah, she might actually go down here, but she's making so much space for the top lane, and in the top lane, myRevenge taking down the Kunkka, and Enchantress might go down, but they do get the mid kill for it.
Yeah, they're very happy with this. myRevenge is playing at the pace. Like I said, 15 to 20 minutes. This is the time that they need to take. This is the time that they're looking to clear out all the tier 2 towers outside, and then they will take complete map control. And probably the next stages, right, is when they go high ground.
Beastmaster.
Beastmaster is 100% dead here. The Nether Strike is going to be there, but he's going to actually it's on the cooldown, but yeah, easy stun.
That damage coming from the surge. I mean, was that even the surge, or was that just the bash? I think it might have just been the bash.
Bash. I think the Beastmaster was very low there. Anyway.
I think he was just that damage was so, and you can see these Naga illusions just dying like so quickly here. You want these illusions to not be killable.
Yeah, because right now, Spirit Breaker with an Iron Shell can clean up the Naga illusions. We don't really need anything else.
Any of these heroes, actually literally any other than Enchantress,
yeah.
Any of these heroes can clean up the Naga illusions, and that's really sad.
They might actually look to pressure high ground. I feel like they shouldn't. They need like +1 item on the Sven. I think he really needed BKB before they pressure high ground. And I think with these Aegis, they're just going to take complete map control, take that bottom tier 2 as well, and just keep everything calm, where they're not giving enough space for the Naga to farm. And then when the next Roshan spawn, where you have cheese and the Aegis, you give the cheese to the Tiny, you give Aegis on Sven, that's the time that you go high ground, and you need to be able to blink in and kill someone at the start.
Yeah, I mean, for that to happen, they need to constantly clean out these Naga illusions, not let them farm the jungle camps. Like maybe if you only give her like one creep wave in a lane or something like that, then it's okay to do that strat. But if she gets like her item, she has a Mantasa. So if she gets this diffuser blade, it's like a big power spike for the Naga, because that's going to kite a lot of heroes like the Tiny and the Darkseer, even the Spirit Breaker. Very easy to kite them with the diffuser blade. So if Naga is able to hit the diffuser blade when they're going high ground, it's going to be much harder for myRevenge to go high ground. Because right now it's just Manta. She doesn't have any slow. You kill the illusions immediately. She doesn't have any impact on the fight.
Yeah. And I think she picked up her Manta, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I think she had the goal.
Yeah.
And the Sven has picked up his BKB. I think this is go time. They are looking to push right now, and they really need to, because 20 minutes is like that mark.
That's the Naga timing mark, usually 20 to 22. If she has a bad lane, probably 22, 23.
Okay, Sven pops the GS as well. He goes high ground. The Kunkka with that Torrent. Tiny jumps into the back line. He's so low, and the stun will get the kill. Kunkka might expect the Spirit Breaker. No, he decides against it. I mean, they can't really kill the Spirit Breaker right now. He's so tanky.
Naga doing what I told, just cutting the creep wave. That's all they can do for now. They can maybe get this tower, but I don't think they're going to be able to get the racks unless they are able to deal with the creep wave. And you see them getting back now because they know that the Naga, has kind of cut the creep wave, which is very good. That's 100% what she must be doing. And immediately myRevenge are going to go take the shrines, I think, because that's the next best thing they can do. They're going to push out the waves again and go again. Maybe take the bot T2 tower bot. Sorry.
Yeah. And if you see, even though it looks like Global Esports are behind, they're actually keeping up with farm, because Naga is only around 2k behind the Sven, which is okay. And then you have Kunkka, who was falling behind, but is actually on par with the Tiny, who was mid. It's just the Darkseer which is a bit weird against the Beastmaster, guys. There's a huge discrepancy, and that's where you see the net worth difference of 10k here. That's the massive difference in the net worth pool that you have right now. And Darkseer having a lot of net worth over Beastmaster is fine, because Beastmaster,
but there's a disruption.
Disruption is there, but the charge from the Spirit Breaker, they will be able to clean this kill up, and yes, they are going to be very happy with this. But now the purge onto the Spirit Breaker. Spirit Breaker gets voted up as well, and he will go down. They're going to be okay with this. They are again trading a support for
but right now you want the Spirit Breaker to stay alive, because that's the only person that can start these fights and initiate these fights, and they feel a lot safer when the Spirit Breaker is dead. So this is actually a lot of space for this Naga Siren when the Spirit Breaker goes down. So this Beastmaster right now, his only purpose is to get auras and
ulti Sven.
Yeah, ulti Sven when he uses BKB, because right now he doesn't apply any pressure on the map because he just gets cleaned up by these many heroes, or if he tries to apply pressure, he'll die to the Spirit Breaker, just like how we saw so many times, you know, under the towers as well. So,
you know, there's a smoke from the Kunkka. The Darkseer might fall into trouble here. He does surge a little bit too early. The torrent is going to be there with the purge, the soul catcher. He's still surviving, but the Sven jumps in with the BKB. The rock wall is out as well. They might clean up everyone here. The Naga is the only one surviving. Naga does have the sleep, but the Sven is on BKB. If he can get another stun off, he's, oh no, the BKB ran out.
But the sleep ran out.
Wait, he cancelled the sleep, or did the sleep run out?
I think it ran out, so he was BKB'd while the sleep.
Ah, okay, they will be able to, yeah. He's 100% dead. The avalanche toss, oh, the Roy is there. By the end,
oh, the toss coming out from the Tiny to finish off.
Style points.
Style points.
They could have easily Dencha could have cleaned the kill up, but the Tiny obviously wanted the kill for himself. The toss to just the no-look toss.
The no-look toss, but I mean that was Beastmaster.
I swear, if the okay, I actually thought this Windbreaker was going to kill the Beastmaster alone.
I think if he had an Iron Shell on him, he would have been totally fine to just go in there.
Yeah, because he had Nether Strike as well.
Yeah, he would have been, but he didn't have Iron Shell sadly, and you can see this Enchant Spirit Breaker just dominating this high ground, stealing the boar as well. Oh man.
Did you think this would be this case when the game started out? I mean, because
and we see them going in here. Oh, almost. The Tiny getting surged up. He blinks in now.
Blinks in onto the Earth Spirit, the tossback as well. He gets the magnetize off, but he will die immediately. And now the board combination from the Kunkka, but it's not doing enough damage because the Sven is BK'd up. He's trying to run away, and he does get purged up. And now the vacuum, keeping everyone at bay for the time being, as well as the avalanche. They want to try and get the Sven, the X-back as well onto the tower. The Sven might actually go down here, and they're going to be very happy. The Spirit Breaker needs to be careful. He charged back in after the Sven went down. If he can get away here, he actually needs to get away. Now the X-back onto the Spirit Breaker, but he will survive. Meanwhile, the Tiny blinks back into the back line, gets the Kunkka kill, he buys back immediately. The Darkseer is in a lot of trouble, getting diffused up, and now the Edge is going to go down here as well. This is really good for Global Esports. This is exactly what they wanted. The Tiny, they do stop him from chipping out as well. This is going to be a full team wipe. Tiny still surviving though. The diffuser is there, and they will clean him up. So that is...
Spirit Breaker will get caught. No, he
did get X back. The X is there. That's a full team wipe. And was that a buyback from the Spirit Breaker?
From Kunkka, buyback from Shadow Demon. I don't know. No, Spirit Breaker did not buy back.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think they
are happy with this.
They're okay with this because heroes like Enchantress position 5 falls off.
Yeah.
Spirit Breaker kind of falls off. Sven, we talked about how he has so many counters on the other team, just like what happened in this fight. He got purged by the Shadow Demon ulti there, and he couldn't really move. That's what made him out of position in that high ground, even with the BKB. So he has to be really careful when they're taking these fights. And the Shadow Demon, I mean, the Tiny is gonna jump. If he jumps the Earth Spirit like that, he needs to disrupt the Earth Spirit instead of the Tiny in those situations, because if the Earth Spirit, if they don't lose one hero in that fight, they can easily defend the high ground. They don't need to use these buybacks. Yeah. So the Shadow Demon just needs to get these disruptions off, save rather than to go aggressive, I feel like, and then this game is going to be really easy for them because right now it's getting harder and harder for them to push high ground.
I still think this is Global Esports game just because of the fact that they still haven't taken racks, and they didn't take racks in that first push that they made, but the Naga was really smart about it and he cut the creep wave.
Yeah.
And now they have to wait for the next Roshan because they don't want the Sven to die again, and they will wait on that Rosh time, but now Global Esports can actually contest Rosh.
Yeah, and I mean they can contest Rosh to an extent because they have like the board and everything, but it's still difficult because you don't want to be using your abilities aggressively. I think you want to be the ones who like maybe save someone, and then while the BKB is running out, while they're trying to kill someone, then you get the purge onto the Sven while his BKB is down, and then reinitiate onto them rather than initiate.
They did scout out Roshan, so this is go time a game for myRevenge. They need to keep that pace up in the game because they have such an early game lineup drafted, and especially against a Naga, like you need to end the game.
But like, you can see this Naga, right? The way he's been farming is that he's been in the enemy jungle, he's been cutting creep waves, he's been playing 2 lanes most of the game. So this farm that he's getting is very, very fast and very, very good. Like even though he had such a bad early game, he's playing a really good game in the mid game and getting all the farm he needs. So you really need to be careful coming into this 25 to 30 minute mark when she has most of her items, and if she gets a heart,
I think it should be halfway towards the heart.
So if she gets this heart, then it's going to be almost impossible without free volley, I think, on Tiny to actually bring her down.
So you have Cheese and Aegis both picked up on myRevenge, and meanwhile Naga managed to clean up that bottom tier 2 tower. So they are getting that gold. They have, I think Kunkka picked up the BKB as well. Things are looking really bad for myRevenge right now, because this next fight is going to be crucial. If myRevenge loses this next fight, that's it.
Yeah.
I feel like that is just completely it, because they won't have anything else afterwards.
Yeah. They really need this Darkseer to get his ulti onto the Naga. To get that illusion. They need the Enchantress to enchant one of the Naga's illusions and clean up the illusions if the Naga decides to actually just go all in. Because usually when you're Naga and you have an illusions and they're like halfway off cooldown, you want to just commit your illusions, so you like the last 5 seconds, so they die and then you can immediately spawn them again. So if they can kill off the illusions like really fast and play in that time where she doesn't have illusions for that 10 to 5 seconds and kill her off in that time, then maybe they have a chance. But if she gets those double illusions off, it's like Naga having 2 lives, something like that. So you really don't want that to happen. So you want to make sure you pay attention to when she uses the illusions and when you want to actually go on her.
And these guys, myRevenge cannot push. I just realized, like, bottom lane, the Beastmaster has been split pushing, Naga is not split pushing, I'm going to be split pushing, and the Sven actually had to take it back.
Here from the Kunkka.
Kunkka smokes up. They want to try and find someone. They did spot out the Ench before, because she went for the D ward, but I don't think they can find him.
Picked up by the Naga.
Things are looking really dire for the Radiant team here. Oh, the Sven will manage to take that Beastmaster down. He does have buyback though. They want to look for more though, but the Naga is just cutting creep waves. Spritbreaker did not find anyone to charge. I mean, they're okay with this, and the Beastmaster is going to be up by the time they push high ground here.
And there's no GS on Sven anymore, so they don't want to push the high ground immediately. They want to keep pushing these lanes out, and the bot lane is not pushed out. See, these are the small things that they have to probably do, like push out all the lanes, get this T2 bot, you know, all these small things before. Like when they're behind, they need to start getting minor victories rather than just winning off huge team fights.
Technically, they think they are still ahead, which they are. I mean, a 12k net worth lead is not a small amount, but with their heroes, I feel like that 12k is nothing. Yeah,
at this time in the game, the draft on Global Esports is just better.
Yep.
Yeah, the Beastmaster is kind of useless, but him having that, Naga might be in trouble.
Naga is going to be in a lot of trouble. He's going to be very sad. The stun is going to be there, as well as the stun combination from the Tiny. Oh, the bash! Is he going to die before he gets the song off? The vacuum as well, and he will not get the song off. And he does not have buyback. This is goal time for myRevenge if they realize this. The disruption onto the Darkseer, and the Varatram charges in onto the Shadow Demon. Gets stun toss, and he goes down. No buyback, down for 60 seconds. This is absolute go time for myRevenge.
That was such a good pickoff coming from
Tiny. Was playing with fire though. He TP'd out in front of Kunkka's face. Kunkka actually thought about it. He was not sure whether the team was behind.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have gone there. Like, because Kunkka's like, if everyone is there, we're just dead. Because they cannot commit the X Mark Torrent boat on a Spirit Breaker. Like, you need.
It was a Tiny actually. He TP'd back.
Oh, the Tiny, right?
Yeah.
So it was a bit scary.
that was.
Yeah. But since the Naga doesn't have buyback now, it's
2 lanes of rocks. Maybe they can get top as well. They pop the GS as well.
If they know this, they might just end the game here, maybe.
20 seconds. I don't think it's enough time. They have hold because they have the Beastmaster Kunkka combination, so they are looking to take another set of racks here. But now the glyph is there from Global Esports.
Seconds, so they can take it. Oh, they're trying to fight here, which is a good call coming.
Really good call. If they can find the Earth Spirit, at least the Earth Spirit will go down. Kunkka has popped the BKB, and now the board flies in. He does not hit on anyone. And now when the Naga spawns, they do not have the board to fight this. Naga spawns back up. The row is going to be down to the Darkseer. Darkseer is going to be in a lot of trouble here. The charge is there, but he's so tight. He's still surviving, and now the vacuum with that wall. The Chinese goes in onto the Naga side. Naga side falling down low. He's solo, gets disrupted up by the Shadow Demon. He's still surviving, but he will go down this build. And the storm is there, but he will die to the one.
70 HP on the Naga.
70 HP, and they will manage to clean out this tier 3 tower on the top lane as well.
Tiny jumping in.
Tiny jump in onto the Kunkka, and now the charge is there for the Spritbreaker as well, and they will clean out more heroes. The Naga side is still surviving though. The Kunkka is dead without buyback for 76 seconds. Global East was in a lot of trouble here. Now whack onto Cho heroes. What a vacuum there. And GG, well played is called. myRevenge take game number 1. What a game from them. I did not think that they can pull it off, but but that one pickoff on the Naga side, and they combined those stunts perfectly.
That was if you watch the team fight closely there, they always focus the Naga illusions, and she always got only one set of illusions off, and she couldn't do anything after that because the rest of her team, they're either one down. Or like they can't really follow up. They have to like Shariman staying back to disrupt. Kunkka can't really just jump in because there's a wall, there's a tiny, you don't want to get caught with so many things, and this Naga just can't really carry the game by herself.
Absolutely amazing, and mind you, this is just game number 1, and myRevenge being able to just take a game
off of Global Esports.
Global Esports is just insane, and they did a really good job. We'll have to wait and see. Stay tuned. We do have the post-match analysis as well. I'll be talking about how the damage has been distributed in the game. So stay tuned for that. We'll be back shortly. So there you have it, guys, the winner, myRevenge, taking game number 1, and we'll take a look at how the damage and of course everything has got distributed. I think Spiritbreaker did a really good job in that game. Oh my goodness,
Spiritbreaker MVP.
100% MVP.
100% MVP that game. He made so much pressure on the map. This Naga did her best. She got all the items she could. Maybe she was like 3-4 minutes late, but the Beastmaster had no impact that game. It was very, very difficult for Beastmaster to do anything.
And I feel like the Beastmaster pick was a bit weird as well, because you have the Ench, myRevenge already had Ench, and then you pick the Beastmaster into it. And you obviously know that the Ench is going to be able to control Beastmaster's bows, and if you don't have double bow in your lane, Beastmaster is useless.
Yeah, that's very true. I just think it went so bad for that lane is because it gave 2 kills so early on in that lane. It gave them like probably a boots advantage for the Ench, and like just Sven got a Midas so soon also. It's like, oh my god, like Beastmaster needs to, since Enchantress, she did get Enchant level 1, right? So she doesn't have Untouchable. So if this Earth Spirit rolls in with the Beastmaster, they can kill her off. Sven has 1 Storm Ball. At least they can trade regen really well.
Exactly.
But this Enchantress just getting the kills, getting maybe a 1 item, 2 item advantage, small items obviously, but those are really big for the early game, especially for heroes like Beastmaster and Earth Spirit.
And I feel like Global Esports just completely ignored the amount of, they underestimated the amount of damage that the Spiritbreaker with the surge of Darkseer
and with Iron
Shell, the damage it does, even late game, when you saw the Spiritbreaker charging in with surge, the damage was just insane. I think the Shadow Demon just dropped down half HP as soon as the charge hit, and I was like, what was the damage? And I feel like Global Esports just ran into a strat. They got cheesed with that.
Yeah, they got cheesed, and also I think that like there were instances in this game where the Beastmaster was trying to come back by farming under his tower and doing all those things, and the TP supports coming from the supports on the side of Global Esports were not fast enough. They couldn't react fast to this Spiritbreaker just running across the map onto this Beastmaster, and as well as the Beastmaster, farming the lane with less than full HP. So then when the Spiritbreaker does charge him, he does die to burst damage just because he's not full HP.
And I feel like the game was going okay for Global Esports until the top lane fight where the Kunkka died once because the TP was lit, and then Kunkka respawned. Came back into the lane, died again. I think that gave that boost that myRevenge was looking for, and they played it perfectly.
Yeah, I think they, as soon as they capitalized on the mistakes coming from Global Esports and then executed the draft to perfection. Maybe they once or twice they messed up one small thing, but I think generally in most of their strategic wise they played really well.
Even the players like to kill the Naga, like chain stunning him completely, and he never got off that sleep.
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't. They had so much lockdown, and as well as the bashes.
That was lucky. At one point, it was a lucky bash, and then they just tried to follow up as well. But yeah, everything worked out really well for myRevenge. So that was just, guys, game number 1. We do have more games coming up. It is the best of 3 between these 2 teams, and of course, Global Esports will be looking for that revenge. And of course, taking a look at the bracket, mind you, this is the first game of the playoffs. And you have a low bracket as well. And Global Esports myRevenge, the winner will be moving on to the winners bracket semi-finals, or the actual semi-finals of the tournament, because we have only 4 teams in the playoffs, and this is really going to be interesting, the fight between these 2 teams, because now Global Esports really needs to step it up.
Yeah, and here we see the tournament MVP award, the nut, or known as the Hades Canyon. So it has the Intel Core i7, the Raiden Vega, the 1 TB SSD, 16 GB RAM, Windows 10, and as you can see the sleek design, you know, it's so small and portable, it packs such a big punch, you know, and you can play any of your games that you want on this, you know, this small device.
Yeah, and especially for a Dota player and someone who wants to get into the next level of gaming, right, where you want to game the majority of your day, having something this portable which gives you really good performance for your games. I mean, if you're a student, you just carry this thing around.
Yeah, you really don't need much.
Yeah, and you just go to your uni or something, you plug in the monitor which is there, and you have a gaming PC.
You don't have to carry your, you know, it's even like more thingy than a laptop, you know, it's just this tiny thing. And also, we have the HyperX Cloud too.
Yeah, Gamer's Choice Award, which of course y'all are going to be voting for. You need to be voting for your Gamer of Choice, so we'll be walking away with the HyperX Cloud 2, and then you have the Best Support Player, Best Carry Player, the Unkillable Award. That is going to be really interesting actually to see who is going to be walking away with the Unkillable Award, because it can be the hero specific or it can be player specific also, because it might be a person who played a lot of Ench. Might happen. I mean, that hero is unkillable.
That makes a lot of sense.
And of course, the MVP is also going to be walking away with the Cloud 2. So, I mean, being MVP in this tournament, man, like
you get
the Intel knock and
a lot.
Cloud 2.
You're really happy if you're MVP this tournament.
For sure. So guys, we will be back with game number 2. Do stay tuned in. This is the in-game Esports South Asia Dota Online Cup. Do stay tuned in for the game number 2 between myRevenge and Global Esports.
Chipped away! Radiant's middle tower is under attack! Dire's bottom tower needs help! Radiant's middle tower shouldn't have to take this abuse. Better help Dire's middle tower. Dominating. Double kill.
Oh, this guy has no children.
Mega kill. Radiant's middle tower could use some help. Unstoppable. Double kill. Dire's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's top tower has a...
Gold for my chest. Back to
killing spree.
You were as abrasive as sandstone.
Dire's bottom tower is being chipped away.
back so soon.
Wait up. Dominating. Double kill.
Ha! Well
Radiant's bottom tower is down. I wonder where he goes. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower has looked better. Some bad things happening to Dire's middle barracks. This middle barracks has fallen. I thought Dire's middle barracks are taking fire, which Dire's middle barracks have fallen. Looks like Dire fortified their structures. Are those cracks in Dire's top tower? Killing
Hello and welcome back everyone to the IGE South Asia Cup online powered by Intel. I'm your caster Nightblade and this is Ter.
Hi guys, so we just witnessed game number 1 between myRevenge and Global Esports. myRevenge taking that surprising game 1 against Global Esports, I think undefeated up until now, and that strat with the Split Breaker Darkseid really working out for them. They just put pedal to the metal, played a really fast-paced game, and they were able to take game number 1. It's going to be interesting to see if they can repeat the feat, which might create the biggest upset in the tournament, where Global Esports will be dropping their first series if that happens. Yeah. And we'll have to wait and see what Global Esports' answer is going to be, because they're a really strong team. I don't think they will get chased twice.
Yeah, and I think that strat really works really well when there's like this Naga Siren or this hard carry in the safe lane, right? So this Naga Siren was picked second, and then they just picked this fast-paced lineup to counter it. So I think draft-wise, if they don't pick up the Naga that early, that wouldn't have happened as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think they would have banned Naga. I mean, they might have banned Naga, being that earlier in the group stages, Blizzard did play Naga and he played it really well. Yeah. Like it looked really spectacular when he played Naga. So that's why maybe they picked it up in the first phase, just so that it doesn't get banned out. But they know that they can't do that anymore. They can't pick too greedy, so they have to be a little bit careful with their picks.
And I mean, even this game, like I think Blizzard played really well on the Naga. It's just that he couldn't do anything at that point of the game, because myRevenge was so far ahead, especially that Spirit Breaker. When you have a person 4 who is that farmed and you have that extra boost that the Darkseid can give you, like then it becomes just a lot of trouble for them. And I feel like as long as Naga is not, because even though Blizzard plays the hero, even if they ban the Naga, right? Blizzard is not a player who cannot play other carry heroes. I mean, this guy is a really good carry player, and I feel like Global Esports should not depend totally on that Naga Siren from Blizzard, and just picking it in the first phase put Global Esports in a really bad position.
Yeah, and obviously, as everyone can see, the tournament MVP award in the Intel NUC here, also known as the Hades Canyon.
It's a really cool name, by the way.
It's a really cool name, and the really cool thing about this is that the graphics card and the Intel processor is on one chip, which what makes it so compact and portable. It's like very easy to take around, use wherever you want. You can see all these. It's like all the ports that a normal CPU will have.
Yeah, I mean, I'm amazed at the amount of, I mean, you have Thunderbolt 3, you have USB-C, you have all the Ethernet connections, and so many USB 3 ports as well. Yeah. And it's all packed into this tiny thing.
Yeah, and it's so convenient. It's like almost the same as, a high-end computer. You can play all your games because it's so powerful as well. So tournament MVP will be awarded the Intel NUC here, and that's, amazing in itself.
Yeah, and of course we do have a lot of other awards. We have the awards for the Gamer of Choice, which you guys will be voting for, of course, and of course we do have the best support player, the best carry player, the Unkillable award, which is going to be really interesting as well, and the tournament MVP will be walking away with the Cloud HyperX Cloud 2 as well. So tournament MVP is going to be really, really happy here. Yeah. The Intel NUC as well as a Cloud 2 headset from HyperX. I mean, he's going to be really, really happy. The prize money as well for the tournament also on top of that. So
and my bets were going to be on Swifty being tournament MVP, but right now they're getting, myRevenge are giving them a run for their money.
And I feel like if myRevenge can, with the hype that they have from that first game, if they can take it forward, because that momentum really matters in Dota. Because Dota, I think it was during a True Sight or video that we saw one of the players talking about how Dota is a game of momentum, which is really, really true. Because during the game even, forget about the previous game, in the first 10 minutes, the momentum, the first 10 to 15 minutes, the momentum that you build is what takes you towards that latter part of the game. And that's exactly what happened with myRevenge. They had such a big momentum build up in that first 15 minutes, and they transferred that completely into the late game, and Global Esports really did not have an answer for it.
Yeah, and also like usually when you pick up the Naga Siren, sometimes, not all the time, but most of the time you have like this really good thing that goes with the song, like maybe an arrow, maybe a big ulti, something like that. But Global Esports didn't really have anything like that.
They had only boat.
They had boat, but you don't always get like a very close together song. Like you want either this Mirana arrow or maybe something to burst someone down immediately. They did have only the boat, but it was so hard. They didn't like really get any of those combos off in those fights as well.
I mean, normally what you run into, there's Naga Siren, Jakiro, Darkseer, stuff like that, because you have Acropai, you have Ice Path, you have then the wall and back wall from Darkseer. So there's like a lot of things that you can put into it, and like you said, they really did not have anything other than Kunkka board there. And I mean, what's the Earth Split? Yeah, he can get off a good magnetize, but that is a bit weird because you get BKBs and then there is no lockdown to just keep everyone together.
Let's be honest, magnetize is it's a mediocre spell.
Yeah.
To say the least. Like, it's good in some situations, but that's like very rarely.
Yeah, I mean, that ult is like, no, you don't take Earth Split for his magnetize. You take him for the early game rotations where you can kill. And in this game, who are you actually going to kill? In the previous game, you can't kill the Sven. He's way too tanky with Warcry. You have the Enchanters with Nature's Attendant.
She got such a good start as well.
Yeah, you have a Spirit Breaker who can charge out. You have Darkseer with Surge. You have a Tiny who is inertly so tanky, and then you have the.
I think if you roll on the Tiny, he'll just kill you.
Yeah, kill you, exactly. I mean, there wasn't a target for the Earth Spirit to go on, and
that was first picked as well. So we can see we're getting to the draft now. myRevenge getting the first. I mean, I don't know if they were banned first, but they do get Jakiro and Batrider out, and Global Esports.
It is actually first ban. myRevenge got first ban.
So then Alchemist and Enchantress getting removed by Global Esports. I think this Alch anyway needs to get banned out.
Yeah, man, that hero is. I mean, we saw during TI also that OG. I think people gave OG Alchemist and they paid the price for it. They gave it first game. They're like, yeah, it's fine. Cause no problem. Give it the next game as well. Get run over again. And they're like, yeah, that hero has to be banned. And Enchantress also. I mean, that hero is so strong. There's a reason that the Ench was only, I think even in the grand finals, he was only given one game where he was let out, and every other game he was banned out coming towards that series, even in the winners bracket finals. Because that hero is unkillable, and especially if you do not have a counter it. Like if you have the Lesh open in the pool, then it's fine. You let the Ench go. But if you're letting the Ench go, you need to have Lesh open. And
right now, Lesh is kind of open.
Yeah, but I have a feeling Global Esports will ban it here because myRevenge does have first pick here.
That's true. But I don't know if Lesh is it is first pick material, but I'm not too sure if myRevenge picked it. Like, so far I haven't seen myRevenge play Lesh, so there we see an Ogre being picked up. So Global Esports actually have a chance to pick up Lesh now because they did play it in one of the games in the group stages.
And it's a very strong hero. They banned out the IO, which is a bit. I feel like now they're again worried about getting cheesed because they got cheesed the first game. They're like, what if they bring out an Ana IO from myRevenge?
What if they figured it out, guys? We see Tiny immediately picked up by Global Esports. What a good hero to start off.
Definitely for first pick material. That hero is so versatile, so strong. We saw it being played really well as position 4, as a mid hero, and that hero actually wins most of his matchups mid, especially against all these melee cores that you have in the mid lane. Like you have Kunkka, you have Ember Spirit, you have even heroes like TA, which do not have like a lot of range. Tiny performs extremely well, and against range heroes also, he has so much of base damage that range hero cannot last it in the lane.
Yeah, it's easy to deny against range heroes unless you have like this power shot or maybe like I mean TA is 10 times good at removing the refraction charges, but TA, as soon as she hits like level 5, she does a lot more damage and she can just bully the Tiny out of the lane. But we see a Lich being picked up. That's something we don't usually see.
We haven't seen this hero since, I don't know, since last year, I think.
I feel like it's just been like so long since there hasn't been a tournament before TI, like a huge tournament. There was only the summit. So it feels like Lich was picked a few times in the the tournament right before the
even at TI, I think he was picked during group stages one or two rounds.
Yeah, but I don't think it's I mean there are better heroes to pick for the second pick, right?
Like you have still ET open here. It is Shadow Demon.
Yeah.
Even the Spirit Breaker we saw worked so well for myRevenge. Why not? And
I mean, the Spirit Breaker was a good pick since there was like this Naga Siren. They knew already how the game was going to be dictated because they picked up the Naga so early. It felt like they knew the draft more or less, So I think now it's a bit more versatile. And we see the Ember Spirit, like I talked about at the break. I thought that myRevenge will go for the Ember Spirit since they did play it really well in one of the groups. I mean, they played it well in the group stages, but they lost with it because he overplayed his hand. They got like ahead by 10k gold, and then Ember Spirit just kept ulting into the Monkey King ult without any remnants. So unfortunately, they did that once or twice, and then they lost the game after that. So hopefully this game, less mistakes. And more of that early game dominance.
I think that's where the differentiation from a really good team and an average team comes in, because even when you're ahead, even if you have like a 10 to 15k lead, you need to know where you can push him, because like even in this previous game, right, myRevenge was so far ahead they didn't go beyond their limits. They overextended once, and the Sven died, and they got team wiped there. That was the only time. And I feel like those are the mistakes that really good teams wouldn't do, because they know the limits. Even though they are ahead by 10 to 15k goal, they know how strong the opponent's heroes are. They can turn it around when you go for a high ground push, especially in a high ground push, because you have so much of setup that the opponents can get ready for, and you kind of tend to lose that team fight if you are not extremely careful. And Global Esports banned the Broodmother, which I really
no more cheese. No cheese. I don't want. Maybe Meepo is still in the pool, but Ember Spirit has been picked up.
Street Breaker ban, IO ban, Broodmother ban. You don't want to get cheese.
No cheese, please. Even though they have the Tiny, which is really good against Broodmother.
Yeah.
But they just still ban the Broodmother and take it out. Just don't want to get cheese. We see a Void being banned out by myRevenge.
That's a very strong combination from Global Esports.
Yeah. But the only thing that they're lacking now is the lockdown.
Yeah.
The Tiny does have the lockdown, but since he's not in the lanes, it's a bit harder to just utilize Tiny lockdown with the Grimstroke.
I feel like both of Global Esports heroes right now, the next two heroes need to have lockdown. Maybe like a Tide and a Sven or something like that.
Tide would be really nice. Actually, Tide, even though it looked really bad in the
Grand Finals,
it's still a very strong hero, because you can always get Ravage off, and you can get them off before the BKBs if you have a Blink Dagger. Like if you blink right next to them and Ravage, they cannot get their BKBs off. So there are a lot of ways to utilize Ravage, and he's also so tanky that he just goes in and tanks so much of the damage that it's such a decent hero in the offlane to pick up, and you know that he can farm with Anchor Smash, and
Yeah, he's. I mean, probably the third. If I remember the stats from TI correctly, I think he was the fourth or fifth most picked hero in TI, and there was a reason for it. It's just that in the grand finals, OG was on a whole different scale of Dota.
Yeah, and also in the first game he got Monkey King, which is already that's an impossible lane for the Titan Hunter, and then after that they just played some amazing Dota that you can't really break down easily. myRevenge picked up the Chen, which they ran really well. I think it was against during the qualifiers. I think it was against SACO. I think I was watching that match. They run a really good Chen, and I feel like right now I still prefer myRevenge draft right now. I like it. It's okay. Chen does a lot in this game, especially against very passive heroes, support heroes, because you can't really deal with the creeps. Like they didn't pick a CM, they didn't pick an Ench to steal the creep or something. So the creeps that Chen brings after he hits at least level 2 or level 3, he'll bring like these decent creeps like the Hellbear Smasher and the Centaur. Yeah, then it gets really hard. Oh, it's a Wraith King being picked.
That is really strong, that hero. I mean, we saw so many teams even during TI. I think probably the best Wraith King player was Hector from Infamous.
Hector, goodness gracious.
Oof.
That guy knows how to he knows how to press the E button.
Yeah.
I mean, he knew where to send the skeletons wherever he went. Like he played that hero really well, got so much farm so quickly on that hero, and his team just knew how to play around that hero so well. So if Global Esports can play around this Wraith King, it does have lockdown, by the way, so it does help with the
like I said, 100% they need to have lockdown on both those heroes.
But still, they don't have anything for this Ember Spirit other than the Tiny combo right now. Like they have obviously the Grimstroke out with Roots and the Ember Spirit.
And what do you call Phantom Embrace, but he needs to get it off on the Ember, and it is very hard.
Yeah, I mean they obviously have Sinister Gaze, but you don't really count that on Ember Spirit, right? Like you're not gonna always get Sinister Gaze off on an Ember Spirit. And we see an Invoker being picked up.
I love Invoker games, man. Like when there's a good Invoker player on a team, it's so much entertainment, because there are so many spells during a team fight. It's a caster's paradise. Like especially heroes like Invoker, Tide Hunter, Enigma, Robic. Those are caster's paradise, man.
Yeah, and this Invoker is gonna be probably against this Tiny.
Yeah.
Which is not an easy lane for the Invoker.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
you can always use Avalanche and walk up to him and toss him back. You can do many things. So this Invoker needs to play a little bit careful. There's always a Chen rotations, so he shouldn't be too scared if the Chen plays around mid.
Yeah, if Invoker can handle his own against the Tiny, there's nothing that Global Esports can gank with technically, because Lich and the Grimstroke both are very weird heroes to gank with. You don't tend to gank with these two heroes.
To be completely honest, I don't think this Invoker is going mid. It might be a 4 Invoker, because they want the Ogre to play offlane. Because I've seen the Ember play mid by myRevenge, and I don't think they played safe lane. So this might be just a position for Invoker, because the matchup is bad against Tiny anyway. So you don't want to pick into a losing matchup, sort of. So
yeah, because they saw the Tiny already.
Yeah, so they probably don't want to pick up the mid invoker here. And we see an OD being banned out and a Darkseer by Global Esports.
They are just banning. They basically banned out 3 of the heroes from the previous game.
Yeah, they're
Ench,
like,
Spritbreaker, Darkseer. I mean, all 3 heroes gone.
like we don't want to deal with the draft from before. Make them pick new heroes. But right now they're just playing into their best heroes. I feel like I'm pretty sure this Shen and Ember Spirit and Ogre are like their one of the top heroes.
And I mean, Ogre it's not rocket science to play that hero. And
Troll, that's really good against Wraith King.
Yeah, it's super good against Wraith King. You get a diffusal and that Wraith King is a goner basically, until he hits like what, level 20 where the no mana cost is.
Yeah, and also I mean this Lich is gonna be pretty good against Troll for the most part of the early game, until Troll gets pretty big, because the slow will kite him, the armor will help him, the chain frost will kind of burst him quite a bit. So Troll needs to play safe and he needs space to farm items, especially that BKB is very important for him this game. There's a lot of magic damage coming from Global Esports here with the Tiny and the Lich. Just those 2 heroes provide so much already, as well as the Radiance. So that Wraith King will eventually get.
Yeah, I think Troll's second item 100% needs to be BKB in this game. I think might go Diffusal BKB or something BKB. I think second item 100% has to be BKB.
I don't think he'll go Diffusal just because. Yeah. I don't think Diffusal is the main.
And you have EMP early game.
Yeah, you have the EMP, but it's not amazing. Since the Invoker won't be that leveled, it won't really affect too much. But you see a Centaur being picked by Global Esports, which is really good against Troll. Because Troll wins his lane, right? Yeah. With his Whirling Blades, Whirling Axes, he throws the range ones. It always helps him get 2 to 3 more right clicks in. But Centaur likes to get hit. Yes. He wants Retaliate stacks. So Troll really can't just hit him freely,
But overall, I think myRevenge has. I feel like they have the better draft here.
I feel like they're more in the comfort zone.
Comfort zone as well, mainly due to the fact that there is. Yeah, the Troll cannot win his lane here, but he's going to not get like pressured a lot because you have the Chen to back you up, you have the Invoker, and Invoker is in no way a bad laner right now. We have seen so many teams running during TIO, so that potion for Invoker is actually quite good. And then you have Chen creeps to back you up in the lane as well. And the top lane, the Ogre is not going to get pressured enough, I think, because the Wraith King and what's it going to be, either a Lich or a Grimstroke?
Probably Lich, right?
Yeah, and I feel like that is not just. Ogre is so tanky, it's not enough to just completely shut down the Ogre in that lane, and then on top of that you will have either the Invoker or the Chen in your lane to back the Ogre up as well. And I feel like the win condition for myRevenge has 2 lanes which are in win condition right now. I feel like mid lane is a bit iffy, where Tiny Ember, I feel like it's Tiny favored for the most part, at least until the Ember gets a fair amount of levels. I think it's Tiny favored. So right now, in my perspective, I think with myRevenge draft, the 2 lanes are won. Yeah. And basically that transfers in. If myRevenge can keep that pace up, if they can win their 2 lanes, and if they can keep that pace up throughout the entire game like they did the previous game, I feel like they have a really good chance here.
Yeah, I think this Troll pick, even though it is pre-countered early, as soon as he gets that BKB, he has free reign in fights, Like they have the Grimstroke ult, but they have, other than that, like nothing really stops him from hitting people, Yes,
they don't have enough kite.
Yeah, they have the Stampede, and they can use it after Troll ult, but there is chains, there's Tornado, there's Ogre Stun, there's just a lot of things that can control you even if you use Stampede, right? Especially the Tornado, right? Even if you're running away, if you hit that Tornado, you always, can secure the kill onto whoever they're going on. And we're going to get into the game very soon here.
And I feel like Global Esports cannot put enough pressure. Like they cannot play that fast-paced game with the lineup that they have. They need they need that time to come online. Swift need to come online really fast this game, because they don't have anyone to push the tempo, I feel like, because that's the only hero that Global Esports has which can actually bring the fight to myRevenge.
Well, they do have the Centaur, right? Because as you remember, Chalice playing the Centaur. So if you do have even a bad start on that Centaur, as soon as you hit that 6, you can make plays around the map very easily with Max Retaliate. So Tiny also being very early game is very strong early game, very high nuke damage, and you can burst Troll, you can burst Ember, you can burst most of these heroes, even the Chen and the Invoker. Maybe not the Ogre very easily, but most of these heroes are burstable.
True.
So if this Tiny and Centaur, hold the game for this Wraith King to get Radiance at a decent time, just the way Infamous played,
What are we looking at? What's the timing on Wraith King's Radiance?
So it depends if he gets Midas or if you usually get Midas. So you get it always at 18 to 20.
Oh, they have Cold Snap ready as well. The Chen is coming in as well. The Wraith King needs to really be careful here. But they're not going. Cold Snap was held on to, or was it?
No, it was used. It was used, but it doesn't do it.
Level 1, yeah.
Yeah, it does 4 damage I think per proc. So it's pretty useless. But later, when he gets at least level 3 or something, then he does a little bit more. Like, you know, then the EFP is online, the Tornado's online, you can get those, you know.
I think the main reason that a lot of people now play, actually, it's viable to play the Invoker position 4 is just due to the fact that you have 2 tomes in the game now.
Yeah.
Both supports gets a piece of that tome, and you don't really, which means that the Invoker is going to be getting his levels regardless. And just because of how strong the vessel is, right? Because Invoker Cold Snap vessel, or just the urn for that matter, is a very strong combination.
It is. And in this bot lane, you see that the Grimstroke has gotten this. Oh, he might be getting gone on here in the bot lane. He uses Inkswell to run away, but he is going to be fine.
Yeah, he is okay.
Yeah.
Like, again, Chen without creeps doesn't really do much.
Yeah. And I was talking about the Grimstroke. He did get the Ring of Basilius early. It's really strong in the lane.
Yeah.
Gives him plus 8 damage as well. They buffed it. So getting this item in this lane is very, very key. And we can see early game, Crowley is going to get hit quite a bit because of this Chen. Just a little bit more damage with that. I think he got the aura at level 1 from the Chen there. But this Centaur needs to be a little bit careful. But since he does have max stacks now, again the Troll needs to be really careful. Because if they get an opening from this Grimstroke Centaur with the Hoof Stomp, he's dead. He's just straight up dead.
For sure. And we top lane, we just see the Lich and the Invoker just harassing each other. Here I feel like the Lich out-harasses the Invoker at least for the first few minutes in the game, where the Invoker does not have enough regen because his core SH is level 1. And of course we do have Ogre, who is just going to be trading farm with the Wraith King. I feel like this is just a complete trade farm lane.
Yeah, and I think that this Lich is doing a good job right now, just harassing the Invoker, but they won't be able to do too much. This Wraith King might die. He's dropping really low now. He used his Wraith Fire Blast, but so he's going to be fine. But
and Invoker is really low as well, actually.
Yeah, they decided to go on 2 different targets there, and all in all, this lane is going to be more Invoker Ogre favored, just because this Wraith King doesn't have enough to dish out early in the game. Because right now you have spells on Ogre and Invoker, but Wraith King just has, you know, this one stun that doesn't really do that much damage as well.
And
Wraith King, there are too many creeps.
Yeah, and there is a Chen Frost as well. They want to go on the Invoke actually. He pops a Fairy Fire. He's going to be okay. No, he's not. First blood going towards Nirvana there. Pass out on the side of Global Esports, and Nirvana getting taken down there. I feel like that was very weird. They shouldn't have gone for that when the Invoker was so low.
Exactly.
And when they did not have kill potential.
I mean, maybe they did if the Invoker had more HP, because then he'd be
like, and plus one spell, I think. Yeah, they did another spell.
Yeah. Maybe he was going to use a spell and then it just didn't work out. But we see Chen taking quite a bit of damage in the bot lane, but he is going to be fine just trading regen there with the Grimstroke. Trying to mess up the creep rate for the Troll Warlord. But in the end, I think Crowley is going to be okay. As you can see, he has 12 last hits in this lane compared to the 9 from the Troll. So slowly, I think the Centaur might be a little bit more of a threat once he gets more levels onto this Troll and the Chen with this Inkswell. This Inkswell being such a good spell, just running at the enemy, and they don't have many slows other than the Troll.
Crowley needs to, the Troll needs to be careful. Crowley going on to the Troll. Troll is in a lot of trouble and he will get taken down. I think he was a little bit too greedy for those 2 range creeps. They might be able to get another one.
Oh, Grimstroke, does he have enough mana for the
Stroke? No, I don't think.
No. Yeah. But as I said, the Retaliate stack's just so much damage, and like, you can't really deal with it early game, whatever hero you are. If there's a Grimstroke, you have to always be careful for that Inkswell. So your HP needs to stay high.
Oh my god, that stroke from a 35.
That was a good snipe.
Yeah, that was 100% a really good snipe. And he fed away free 26 gold as well. The Chen fed away free 26
That's a lot of money for Grimstroke, you know. You know, you're pretty poor in this lane. You can't really do too much. Oh, mid lane, Ember dropping really low.
Ember needs to be really careful here. Tiny should have another combination coming up shortly. He should at least have the avalanche only, I think, at this point. No, he does have the toss as well. So yeah,
I think Ember is not favored, as you said, for a good fraction of this early game. So Tiny expected to be doing this well. Ember just, I don't think Tiny has all the easy kill potential on the Ember.
Yeah.
It's a little bit difficult, but there always is a possibility if the Ember overextends.
Yeah, Ember needs to keep his HP pool at a certain level. Anything below that level, it's going to be an easy kill for Swifty on the Tiny. And we see the Tiny just dominating the lane also. 29 last hit to the 18 on the Ember, almost doubling him on last hits.
Top lane, which is a little bit of a skirmish, but nothing resulting, you know. Red King just a bit low on mana, can't really do anything.
And bounty runes are spawning, so Red King is going to be able to claim, actually Dai is going to be able to claim both these bounty runes. And
bot runes, there might be a little bit of a fight, but Ogre dropping really low here.
They got 3, they are going to get 4 I think. No, he's going to deny the rune. So that's 3 runes going in favor of Global Esports. Things are not going the way that myRevenge wants it to, because they were expecting to win at least 2 lanes here, and they are not even winning 1, I feel like, because even top lane the Red King is getting a decent amount of farm, and they give away a kill on the Invoker as well, so they're definitely not winning that lane.
Yeah, it's going even in the top lane, because if you compare the Ogre's farm to the Centaur's farm, it's pretty even right now. Both of them have 23 last hits, so this Ogre is a little bit of a factor this game. He needs to get his Midas online, he needs to get those levels online, and he needs to start doing a lot of carrying for this troll. You know, the Ember also being one of those heroes that if after they get levels they're very strong, they don't really need items.
I mean, you know, they might actually try to go on to the Red King. Red King is going to be able to walk away from that EMP, but the Ember is there with that Flame Guard, but they don't have enough lockdown here. Inoka does not have another Cold Snap. He does not have the mana for it. Oh, lovely dodge there by the Ember Spirit, but he is not able to get this kill. He's actually going to go down here. This is so bad for myRevenge, and they will get the Invoker as well. What a turnaround there. The Grimstroke tipping in right at the right moment. They did lose the Lich, but they're going to be very happy with this.
Dude, the body block's almost.
But he does he have another stroke of it? I don't think he has another stroke.
I don't think it kills Ogre anyway. Ogre is just really tanky. He won't die to 1 stroke. It's probably only level 2. Yeah, level 4. He's level 4, so it's only level 2. So they can't really.
So 2k net worth lead at 6.5 minute mark is really good.
Tiny, missing his spells a little bit there, but it's fine.
It's okay. He took away Flame Guard and he just wanted to use this
spells. Haste. He might be able to do something with this haste now.
Top lane maybe? 1 line was drawn actually.
Yeah, he is walking top. He might be able to get a gank off here. He's going towards the shrine, I think. Gonna heal up.
Yeah, he's going to shrine up. He actually used the haste. He's going bottom lane. If they can bring down the troll.
Yeah, I think this is
such a good. Oh, toss! The toss is going to be there with that stun on to the troll, and they will be able to clean this hero up. But is it going to be enough? Yeah, 1 more right click and he will go down. They might look for more actually here. Oh, jokes, but no, the double edge is going to be there, and they will find the kill onto the Chen as well. 1 charge is getting popped, but it is not enough.
No, not even needed.
Yeah, double kill for Crowley. They're going to be very happy with this. Good rotation there by the Tiny with that haste rune. Immediately shining up and taping into the bottom lane to get that pick off onto the troll as well as the Chen. And things are looking pretty bleak for myRevenge right now.
Yeah, I mean, the only kill they've gotten is onto the Lich, and that's a position 5 hero, so losing every single lane here. But the net worth lead isn't too high. There's a 3k net worth lead, but that is something you can come back from. It's not a 5k or a 6k net worth lead, so 3k net worth lead is something you can come back from. They haven't lost any towers here, so they still have that in favor for them. But they need to be careful for these tiny rotations, because the troll can get bursted very quickly, and this Ember just doesn't have enough lockdown, I think, to gank right now.
And they are trying to burn away the mana on the side of Wraith King. He will take away half his mana pool, and he doesn't have, and Ogre is going to be okay with this.
Yeah, so Wraith King does kill his ultimate at level 6. Just in case. He has a wand, so he should be okay for the most part.
It's very rare though we see people actually having the skill point at level 6.
They usually just hold it and just don't use it whatsoever. And when he's going to die, he skills it up. So not being done in this game, but it is, you know, whatever. He has his wand, so he's always going to be able to get it off if he really needs to. And he has max skeletons, so he is going to be that farming Wraith King just in the jungle, farming his Radiance. So,
and I feel like they can make this happen also, right? Because you have the Tiny to control the pace, and with Centaur having such a good game, the Wraith King can just sit inside the jungle and keep farming for at least a good 20 minutes into the game. He can still farm AFK.
Yeah, and you see Crowley pushing out this bot lane, gonna get his retaliate stacks up now, and he's gonna get the 13 and start chunking this tower down. He's just gonna destroy this tower.
Yeah, and we do see the Tiny sending an illusion, just scouting that entire lane up for the the center. Meanwhile, top lane, they are trying to trade towers here. They really need to do this. They need something to work in their favor.
So Chen, using his creeps, getting 2 Alpha Wolves. So they do quite a bit of damage with this Alpha Wolf aura. So I'm not too sure if it stacks. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. But
the crit doesn't stack.
I mean,
but
the aura. I don't think the attack aura stacks. But if one dies, you still have it.
Yeah.
Oh, I see Chen.
Meanwhile, EMP with the cold snap will burn away all of Blizzard's mana. But where is heroes to contest? There is no one there.
And they do get the creep.
Oh, they get all 3 there. Chen is going to be very sad right now.
Yeah, you don't want to lose 3 big creeps, and it takes you some time to get that back up, and Chen doesn't want to be not applying pressure somewhere.
They might get the center bottom lane when they are contesting for the rune. They want to find both runes at least bottom lane, and meanwhile TP from the Grimstroke as well. They want to try and contest this. They will try to go on the center wall, falling down low. The Grimstroke with that ultimate as well as the cold, actually the Phantom Embrace. They will be able to clean up the Ogre taking so much of damage, managed to pop the wand as well as the stun onto the center. It was multicasted. Meanwhile Chen might actually go down here. The stun is going to land and double it as well. Oh, one charges, but he will go down. Meanwhile, the center will pay for it with his life. I think they're happy with this.
Honestly, not bad.
Yeah.
Honestly, Chen is like, yeah, I baited them. But as you can see, the Ogre survived there with that buff on the multicast, just making sure the stun duration for the multicast is full on every multicast.
Yeah.
That little change on Ogre made him able to survive there, and I think that's really great, to see such small changes in Dota, applying in such a big way.
Yeah, 100% the Ogre would have died if not. And meanwhile, Invoker in the mid lane trying to get some levels up. He really needs them. That's the thing, because at one point in the game you need one of your cores to just give a lane to the Invoker. Yeah. That's how it works. Oh, Tiny!
Good avalanche.
Yeah, he had a ward there, right? Yeah, he had vision, the high ground vision, yeah. Other than any other time, that would have been so predictive and such a massive play. But regardless, I think it was a really good avalanche, because he would have lost all his mana if not. I feel like.
I mean, if they had one more TP or Ember just remnanting in, he probably would have gone down too.
True. Because Ember was in the vicinity as well. It was actually Chen in the vicinity.
Yeah, so right now this Chen feels pretty useless in this game. He only has Hand of God to, he has the aura as well, but they're not really making any moves across the map. Ogre just harassing the Tiny. They want to just make sure they have vision of this Tiny most of the time, because they want to know where he's rotating to, because right now the only thing they can do is make this troll farm, and that's what they really want to do at the end of the day. Get this troll to farm a little bit faster than the Wraith King before Wraith King hits his item timings. This troll is not really hitting. He is going the diffusal first, like you suggested earlier.
And he's not too far behind the Wraith King, to be honest. I mean, he's around 500 gold behind, which is not a lot. I mean, there's definitely nothing that you can't come back from. One good team fight is all it takes.
Yeah, and the bot lane, Tiny
is going to find the Ogre here. The avalanche into the toss combination as well as the cold embrace is going to be there. But now the EMP from the Invoker holding everyone in place for the time being, and the Ogre getting fully healed up by that Hand of God, I think, from the chain. I think it was used.
Yeah, and I think that Tiny really wanted to get something done there, but I think he could have tossed him to one of his friends on the other side of the river. Might have been a little bit better, but I mean, not getting that kill is not the biggest deal. They did use Grimstroke out, but it's okay. And
I feel like Ogre is not the easiest target to just kill off like that.
It's just unfortunate he ran into him.
I feel like he's getting pressure to do something, because he's the one who is supposed to be controlling the tempo. Whoa, that stroke of it doing so much of damage. And now the toss as well. Tiny with that double damage as well as Stampede from the center is going to be able to clean up that Invoker. They're still okay with this, because it was Stampede used just to kill off the Invoker, and they will get a return kill onto the Grim. One more right click and they will be able to clean him up.
So that Shen creep actually did so much damage that fight. He got like 3 or 4 shockwaves off.
Yeah, Hadoken doing a lot of work there.
Shockwave actually has quite a bit of damage too. And then the creep does die, but Chen actually being useful. All this time he's being pretty, he did get the top tower, but that's all he did. I feel like this game, he's not the most useful hero, since the heroes from Global Esports are very good at dealing with the Chen creeps right now. Yeah,
D push is really strong, especially with Frost Armor from the Lich. You have
Grimstroke first skill. The Stroke of Fate is just very good. It does so much damage, as well as the Tiny Avalanche.
I love that hero. It's so sad that he's not the best version 4 in the game right now.
Initiation top.
top lane. The stun toss onto the troll. Troll does not get off his ultimate due to the Phantom's Embrace from the Grimstroke, and it will get cleaned up. He was actually really happy in the top lane. He was farming really basically uncontested for quite some time there, but in the end Swifty just getting there. Meanwhile, mid lane, the Ogre might be in a little bit of trouble. The Cold Snap as well as the EMP is going to catch Swifty, losing basically
more than half.
More than half. Now that is the thing, when you're tiny and you're running into a hero like Invoker with EMP, you're going to be really sad, because he thrives on being able to get one combination off, then getting out, then coming back and getting the next combination off. And that's what you want to be doing as a tiny. And then you jump into the fight, you use one avalanche toss and you lose all your mana, you're going to be very sad.
You're sad. You're not happy with that. You want to get a BKB just because of that. But meanwhile, the tiny might be in a little bit of trouble, but I think it's fine.
Yeah, I think that was scouted out.
Yeah, and we see Chen has got his army up again, so they might look to make a move on this bot tower now. They have the alpha creep as well as this double. These tiny centaurs, they provide so much magic
resistance,
that it's not that bad to have them. You know,
it's really good against Lich and Tiny both.
Yeah, you think that it might be like not that good, but the aura is actually really decent to have, especially in a game where they have such high magic bursts coming from Global Esports.
If you're an SF player, you know how strong these creeps are, because as an SF you want to go and clear up jungle creeps, and when you see one of these small centaurs, you get really pissed off.
Chen, he does...
Don't lose your creeps.
Yeah, but
scouting things out.
Look at the damage. They're not taking damage. Oh, this Ember.
Oh, Ember jumping in onto the Lich. The Stomp is going to be there as well. They are wanting to get this Grimstroke, and he will get taken out as well. That was a really good fight, and I feel like they were looking at the Chen creeps for such a long time.
So they're just looking at him. They weren't doing it. They're like, oh, okay, let's use a few spells on the creeps, and they were like, the creeps aren't taking that much damage.
Guys. They won't die. Do we go on them?
I mean, the supports are respawning soon, so they could still take
now, they brought in a Blizzard into this fight. The Wraith King joins the fight, and the Troll needs to be careful, gets tossed back onto this Wraith King here. Needs to be really careful, taking so much damage. He does have the ult. Is he going to be able to... The Hand of God saving him. He does pop his out. He gets stunned up. He's going to survive for the time being, but he will get taken down in the end, and they get nothing in return for this. And another toss back onto the Chen. Chen will get stunned up as well, and he will get taken out. And myRevenge just overextended their hand there for a bit. They thought they had it, but Blizzard actually joining the fight there.
10 creeps. No, the two centaurs died.
Free gold?
Free gold, no centaurs. Feels bad. I mean, that toss coming from the tiny there is what secured them that fight. Ooh.
EMP Tornado, they will lose all their mana. No. One charge just popped.
Yeah, I mean, that was okay. That's annoying, right? But that's not big, you know?
Yeah.
It's not enough for them to, you know, come back from with just the Tornado EMP. It's very annoying, but it doesn't really secure them anymore.
Oh no, Chen needs to be careful. I think they spotted this out, and they cleared up a stack actually. Tiny managed to clear out a double stack there for the Troll.
Lich might be in trouble here.
Yeah, Lich will go down here for sure. I don't think there's anything that they can do to save this guy. Just caught out while his team was backing off, and he's not the fastest hero, to be honest. No. Everyone else got out, but Lich very slow.
Yeah, and I feel like they're getting kills on the side of myRevenge, but they're all on Lich. I feel like Lich is the only one dying. Obviously, Grimstroke did die also, but
this reminds me on someone during TI. There was a support who kept dying for his team. Was it Jerax?
It was Pylite, right?
No, that was a long time back, right? I'm talking about this TI.
Yeah, Pylite in this TI kept dying continuously with the other Titan.
ET, exactly. I remember this.
So he like TP'd to the shrine, and the bot shrine, and he kept dying to the Monkey King again and again and again in the same.
And this guy from LGD, FY mid lane, he kept feeding Viha on the TA.
Yeah, so I mean, sometimes it's like intended, but most of the time it's not.
It's not. I mean, you want to be dying regardless whether you're a support or not.
I mean, sometimes you're making space. You want to get vision, and you don't really mind dying, especially if you're killed over and over again. It's okay because they get less and less each time they kill you. It's like not really worth it.
You get like 120 gold.
Yeah, so like, if that's stopping them from getting killed on your core, it's worth it, you know. So right now we can see the Wraith King just farming up now, almost at his Radiance. I think he almost has Radiance right now on Wraith King. So once he gets that Radiance, it's going to be really difficult for Troll to do anything in these fights, because he didn't go BKB first. He didn't go. He went Diffusal, right? So he's going to miss. And then if he misses too many times, they can easily turn the fight. And I feel like there's so much control for this Troll as well as armor on the side of the Global Esports that it's hard since they're so far behind right now.
Yeah, and I feel like with the troll you needed one farming item, at least on Midas, because you're not going to be farming as fast as Red King ever, because Red King went for Midas plus a Radiance now, and troll is not going to be able to catch up anytime soon, and you want this Ember to step up, but the Ember also does not have farm. They are both very far behind. If you see the top 3 net worth right now is the Red King, the Centaur and the Tiny, and after that only you have myRevenge, the 3 cores, and even the Ogre I think probably would have gone for a Midas by now, is still not up there, and you want your Ogre, you expect your Ogre to be ahead just because of the Midas.
I mean, he comes ahead usually around 25 to 30 minutes because he needs to get the levels in multicast. Oh, there might be an initiation here.
Ogre might actually go down here, and now the Phantom Embrace onto the Ogre. Ogre will get taken out. The troll in a world of trouble here. Does get what you call Sinister Guest up into that Lich Ult, and now the Ember is going to be in trouble as well. Gets stunned up. The chain stuns up. Perfect. They lose 3 heroes. They will find the 4th as well. The Chen will go down here, and that is almost a team wipe. Where was the Invoker for the control?
Invoker was out. He was out. He wasn't even
Good eye.
that engagement. He just totally MP'd and he was like, I'm booking it out of here.
That's all I mean, technically that's all he can do.
Yeah.
He has 2 spells, 3 maximum.
And he's just sad. You know, it's like he watches his team die. He's like, I did what I can. I literally have no other spells. I don't have
use my spells. Bye.
No Exort. Can't Deafening Blast.
I'm still taking 6 other seconds to get it off. We get 3 fills off, and then you wait 6 seconds to get the next shot off.
And MP going down and immediately.
I think a really good Sinister's Gaze, mind you.
Yeah, it was. And then this combo from the Sun into the Inkswell into the Silence, just, I mean, even the Troll getting bursted down by the Lich Ult, like I said, they have so much burst for him. If he doesn't have this BKB item, he's just gets kited so much.
And this is why Global Esports are a threat to be reckoned with. I mean, they're so good. That's why they are the dominant team right now in the tournament, because the little things like pulling off your combinations perfectly. We felt like, you know, the
Tiny might be jumping in here. He does get Inkswelled up.
Yeah, they couldn't find the Ember. They thought they might be able to catch that Ember, but Ember just kind of reading it, I think.
Yeah, Arcane Rune on Tiny too.
Yeah, would have been really, really bad. And these guys are playing a very fast-paced game right now, and Ember is actually bottom lane, and the Invoker gets Phantom Embraced up as well. Yoga is caught as well. They will lose both heroes. Lich double out the blink, and a toss back from the Tiny onto that Ember. Ember needs to be careful. He will be able to walk it off, but they will lose 2 heroes with that Invoker buyback.
Yeah, that was a really good initiation there, coming from the Grimstroke, making sure that, I mean, they should have really expected Global Esports to come onto them there, because they showed mid very recently and they just stayed near the tower. They just didn't expect them to dive the tower, but obviously when you're this far ahead on Global Esports, you don't really mind diving tower, especially if you have a Centaur, if you have a Tiny, if you have the Lich armor, you don't really care about that.
They might take another fight bottom lane. The Ember will get caught out here. He gets Phantom Embrace up as well as the stun toss combination. He will get immediately taken down, and they get nothing in return. They only burned off the mana, and now the stun onto the Chen. Chen needs to be very careful. The crits are real, and he will get taken out as well as the Invoker, which is a dieback, and the things are looking pretty bad.
Yeah, with this Crimson Guard from the center, it's gonna be very hard for them to defend. This Ember Spirit doesn't do much, the Troll doesn't do much, even the Bloodlust doesn't do much just because of this Crimson Guard. It's like they attack faster, but the damage they output is just not there.
And he's going for Centaur is going for a heart right now, and once he gets his heart, there's no way that Centaur die, because it's not like you have a Shadow Demon with
exactly with Soul
Catcher,
like
which bursts.
This is unkillable award, like right here, right when he gets heart.
I mean, we had during TI 5000 HP Centaur just vanished into thin air with Soul Catcher, but I mean, myRevenge does not have Soul Catcher right now.
Yeah,
and I feel like, what are you gonna kill the Centaur with? Once he gets heart. Even if Troll was like at least 3 slotted, you know, 3-4 items in, a hard Centaur is still very much unkillable.
It's so hard to get hard Centaur. I mean, the net worth difference right now is just so, it's like 15k.
Tiny goes fishing, finds the Troll here, and will get the toss back onto the Grimstroke with that soul bind now, and the double Lich Ult, the Troll pops his ultimate, he had to there, and he will get the kill onto the Grimstroke.
That was pretty good for the Troll there. Like, he survived that, he got a kill off of it, and like, you know, it's something, right? Like right now he needs a kill, he needs 2-3 kills. just to get ahead. And you can see this 20k actually.
See,
almost 20k.
Yeah, the lead actually did not dip in favor of.
Yeah, we see center out. There might be an initiation in this mid lane here, but no real initiation.
They're going fish and tiny as oh, the Invoker gets caught up with that storm from the center and the toss as well to clean things up, and it is Swifty with another kill. And it feels like, even in the graph when the troll got the kill, you expect the graph to at least go a little bit in favor of Global Esports. That doesn't happen. It's just that the steepness of how far the network is going in favor of Global Esports, it just reduces a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they have a Glimmer Cape now also. Like, the Glimmer Cape pickup is going to be so important on the side of Global Esports, because if they can kite the troll so well with it, because the supports like Chen and Invoker don't really come front to use the dust, right? You want to put the dust on maybe the Ogre, and I'm not too sure if Ogre has the dust right now, because its Glimmer Cape looks really good right now. It's just so good right now, just a kite.
And that's 4 bounties going in favor of Global Esports as well. 21k network lead at the 25-minute mark. I mean, that's 1k network per minute almost, and that's a lot of gold in favor of Global Esports. And I feel like even experience-wise, Chen does not have enough levels. The Invoker is still not even 3k net worth, and that's at like a 25-minute mark.
That's really sad. And as you can see, the Wraith King just got the no mana cost on his.
Yeah, and now your diffusal is useless.
Now your diffusal is useless. So then that timing window is completely gone. This item you have is not that good, and you're just not doing as much as you wanted to on this troll.
Yeah, and now they're going to go into Roshan as well. Global Esports is going to be taking a very uncontested easy Roshan. I feel like there's no way that myRevenge can contest this. And I mean, Troll had the opportunity to change up his item choice, because he knew that the lanes were not going well.
Yeah.
He knew that things were not working according to their pace. He should have switched his item build completely. Should have gone from maybe like a drums into a manta style to get that extra survivability.
Maybe a maelstrom drums into BK.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yes, one farming item. I forgot a farming item, right? You get maelstrom just to be able to farm a little bit more faster, and then you go
even no drums, like just maelstrom BKB right now, and that sounds a lot better than the diffusal right now. I mean, he would have had the same farm right now, but he almost has a BKB now, so with the maelstrom it would have been better than the diffusal.
For sure. And I mean, just item choices at that point, I feel like. And Tiny almost has his Ags. He's around 900 gold away from his Aghanims as well. And that is going to be, I feel like, what is myRevenge actually going to do? They are in such a bad position. They need a pick off somewhere, and they're not able to smoke and go get a kill also.
Like, imagine if they run into the centaur. They can't do, and they just have to say bye and I'm out, and they have to use a spell, otherwise you'll jump them and kill them off. Like, it's not easy to just smoke right now. They have to split push like the troll is doing right now, and just let him get his BKB, and then maybe do something with that, and while defending high ground, because Troll can't really, they can't really do too much while trying to pick off people.
And now they're going to go high ground here. The Ember might get tossed back here, but the Ogre keeping the Tiny at bay with that ignite there. Otherwise, the Ember for sure. I feel like Swifty would have 100% jumped in there.
Yeah, Troll does get BKB, so they might be able to take the fight here, but the tower already down.
Oh my god, that damage onto the Chen. The Soulbind is down to both heroes, the Ogre as well as the Chen. The Centaur, the Wraith King actually chasing in. He will lose all his mana, but no mana cost. And he will respawn back up. And Centaur coming in onto the Troll. Troll needs to be careful. The stun is going to be there. The Phantom Embrace as well. He pops his BKB as well as the ultimate turning around. The Wraith King falling on low, but the Frost Shield keeping him alive, and now in the center he immediately hit him once. He's like, nope, I don't want to hit you anymore. And Centaur faking the stun for such a long time onto the Ember Straight. Ember Straight will get off the steering chains onto the center, and Tiny bailing his teammate out with the toss back.
Heads up play by the Tiny.
Yeah,
making sure they don't lose anyone right now. Getting the Melirax at the same time. Wraith King does not have.
He needs to actually be careful because he does not have to have his ultimate, and the stun is going to be there. Wow.
And he's totally fine.
Yeah, Troll goes down as well as the Ogre. The crits are real from the Tiny as well as that Wraith King. And again, he's just playing.
He's just having fun.
Yeah, Swift is just playing.
Like, supports need to stay back. And
stay back, don't come forward. And the Ogre might get taken out. This will be a dieback. The toss is going to be there with that stroke of fate. Will take him down. They want to chase after the Chen, keeping them at bay for the time being. And GG, well played call. myRevenge completely dominated there. And Tiny still playing around with things. very reminiscent of Tops and Tiny as well as Jerax. I think they kept on doing it during TI the entire time. They were having so much of fun.
Tossing everyone.
And even Anna, right, on that Ember, he used to let go of kills and stuff. But I feel like myRevenge, they had the draft. I feel like they still had the draft, but the laning stage was so poor. Yeah. They really could not come back. They needed to hit their timings.
I felt like the troll needed to change the item build. Yeah. I think they needed to realize that hitting the center and the lane is not really good for you because they might just turn on you. Obviously, the first level is, I mean, if he gets retaliate level 1 also, they just need to expect this Inkswell combination. It's just so strong, and you have only a Chen in your lane, so you don't have any real protection against that. So maybe not Chen in that game.
Yeah, and dying in that lane, because he did not technically need to die in that lane. Yeah, you take a lot this thing, but if your positioning is decent in that lane, there's no way that you die. And the time that Troll went down first was because there was 2 range creeps, and they were full. Yeah, and those 2 range creeps were full HP, right? Yeah. But the Troll was actually hitting him 1 by 1 the entire time, and then he went forward to try and take those 2 creeps, which he did not need to do. He could have had the same thing done when the creeps pushed near the tower, and he would have still got those range creeps without committing or dying for it in return. And
so we will be, well, I mean, we're going to go into the post-match interview very soon. Yeah, so we'll just head into a short break and we'll be back soon. Yeah, and we're back, and like as you were saying before, the troll lane, one other thing that helped the Centaur and the Grimstroke just really dominate then was that bring a Basilius pickup on the Grimstroke early into that game. Just did so much, gave mana, and it helped everyone in that lane just, you know, do so much more damage and give more spells out, I felt like. Yeah,
I think they needed to play that game near perfectly during the early game.
That's what
late game would have been I mean, mid game would have been fine if the early game was perfect, and early game is so important. I said, like, you need to win at least 2 of your lanes, or you need to win 1 lane and break even in the other 2. That's the only way you go into the mid game. If you lose 2 of your lanes, or like anything more than 2 lanes that you're losing, you're perfectly screwed for the mid game.
Especially against a Wraith King that you know is gonna farm fast. You know you can't stop his farm that easily because you have no way to just go in because you've got this Chen, you have an Invoker which doesn't really do too much. You want the Ogre to do well. But can you see, if you remember the Ember Spade rotating to the top lane and then them killing the Ember, it was just not
that was a really good TP there from the Grimstroke, because there is no way that they would have got the return kill on Ember without the Grimstroke.
It just stopped his momentum on Ember Spirit. Like, he wasn't having the best lane, so to make up for that, he wants to get kills around the map. And as soon as he goes for a kill, he dies, which is unfortunate, and just stops his farm completely. Yeah,
Global Esports had myRevenge's number from the get-go. They knew exactly where they were laning, they knew exactly what to do, the item choices, and this is completely dominating. And of course we do have the tournament MVP award, the Intel Nuck, also known as Hades Canyon. Such a cool name. I actually like, we all call it the Intel Nuck, but Hades Canyon, man. Such a cool name for like a gaming device. And technically it is a gaming device because it has the Intel chip combined with that VJ card, the RX Vega, which is such a big thing. And then you have a 16 GB RAM. That's above and beyond what a gaming computer might need.
With a 1 TB SSD, like, it's gonna run smooth, you know? Everything's gonna run smooth.
And 1 TB SSD, like, Jesus, man. That's like a lot. And of course, for a gamer, you need your peripherals and stuff. You need your gaming keyboards, your the mouse, the headset, which are all USB and stuff, or Thunderbolt 3 for that matter, and all the ports required is all there. And then of course HyperX giving away those awards for Gamers Choice Awards, which everyone who is watching at home will be voting for, as well as the best support player, best carry player, the Unkillable award. We saw the center might walk away with
maybe. I mean, he was pretty unkillable. As well as the Wraith King, though.
Yeah, true.
The center did die once in this game, but the Wraith King didn't die.
and then of course tournament MVP again will be walking away with that HyperX Cloud 2 headset. So a lot of awards being given away. on top of the prize pool, which is already there. And of course, if you guys want to take a look or get a perspective on what the size of the Intel NUC is, this is basically the size. Like, this is a portable gaming computer that you can carry around, and it's not a laptop. The problem with a laptop is like when you carry it around, you have the keyboard in front, you can't plug in your own peripherals, and even if you do, the screen is so far away. But with this, you have a portable unit where you can take it to your university or plug it into a
I was
monitor.
thinking about, like, you know, in the old days when we used to think about, okay guys, you want to have a LAN party, you have to carry your huge computer around, and this, I mean, compared to that, it's like,
this is the next gen LAN party that we have. And the tournament MVP, man, is going to be, I mean, it has so many ports. You have Thunderbolt 3, you have all the Ethernet ports that are required, and so many USB 3 ports. How many are there?
Like,
1, 2, that's 6. Dude, my desktop does not have that many.
I was just going to say the same thing. So,
and of course the HDMI port, as well as all the connectivity that you could possibly need.
And also, there's going to be a beautiful skull right here.
Yeah, that skull, oh, it actually shown on screen.
Yeah, it showed. But like when you switch it on, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
So guys, if you do want to buy one of these, make sure you go to any of the retail stores and pick it up in the Southeast Asia.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those items that you want to have if you are a tech geek and a gamer in general. I mean, this is the next gen thing to have in your arsenal if you are a gamer. So anyway, guys, we did have that game to conclude going in favor of Global Esports. We will be heading into a game number 3, a deciding one. Obviously, the winner will be moving forward into the semi-finals of the tournament, not just winners bracket semi-final, because of the way that the bracket has been made. It is going to be the overall semi-finals, and of course, the loser won't be going home. There is a loser bracket as well, so there is another chance where myRevenge can come through. And I feel like myRevenge is a team that has the potential to do that, because they showed us in the first game.
They showed us everything. You know, they showed us the Spirit Breaker, Darkseer, Cheese Strat, and now, you know, after they got banned out, they struggled a little bit. So maybe they have to come up with something else. Other than the Darkseer, Spirit Breaker, that they can dominate with early. Especially
against teams like Global Esports, you need something in your arsenal to like bring out, like a carry IO. I mean, might see it. I would love to see it in this tournament, to be honest.
They did get banned last game, so they... We'll see.
Global Esports were worried though. They were definitely worried.
No cheese.
Anyway, guys, stay tuned. We will have game number 3 shortly.
welcome back everyone to the in-game esports South Asia Cup online powered by Intel. I'm your caster Nightbane, and with me is Tara.
Hi man, so we did have two games between Global Esports and myRevenge. So the series is tied 1-1 right now, and it is going to be the game 3. What an interesting series. I mean, no one thought that myRevenge would actually take a game against Global Esports, and they did take a very convincing game. And that was not just a random fluke, it was a really good game by myRevenge, just completely dominating Global Esports in that first match. But of course, it was a bit of a cheese strat with the whole Split Breaker Darkseer combination, and I mean it worked out really well for them. And second game we saw Global Esports banning out all the cheese heroes possible with IO, Split Breaker, Edge, Broodmother, everyone.
They're like, no cheats guys. We just want to, you know, have a normal game.
And game 3 is going to be interesting because myRevenge also does not want to just let this go. They probably have like a couple of more strats up their sleeves, and if Global Esports is not careful, they might run into another chase strat. And I think they need to be very careful in their draft, just like they did the previous game with the heroes that they pick in the first phase. Because in the first game they picked Earth Spirit and Naga Siren first phase, which is
countered immediately,
and which is really weird as a first phase pick. And I think Global Esports cannot afford to do the same thing against a team of the caliber of myRevenge, because they are going to punish you if a mistake is.
And they know how to play that early game strat. It's not like they're not strangers to the strat. They were pressuring them very hard. They got towers very methodically, and they got Roshan, and then they did everything, you know, the way you're supposed to do it. It's not like they were new to it or anything.
Definitely, and of course, it's going to be interesting to see what type of heroes that myRevenge can come out with. I mean, we have there are a lot more strong heroes that we haven't seen. Stuff like ET, which we haven't seen in this thing. There's Void. I feel like it's one of the best pub carries right now, because I tried that hero out in a couple of games. I'm yet to drop one. I'm on a pretty good winning streak with that hero, and that hero is very strong because it is good for multiple situations. You have +1 spell, which allows you to kill.
IO being picked up here.
Global Esports? Is Blizzard actually going to do a carry IO?
Maybe. I mean, maybe they want to try it out. I mean, this is not the time to try it out. You know?
Definitely not the time to try it out.
Not the time, but maybe they're confident enough after that game.
They should have tried it out in the group stages, maybe.
Maybe, but I mean they didn't see it yet, right? I mean, because
by then they had seen it, because TI group stages were done by that time.
Maybe they had to figure it out.
Probably.
You know, look at the games, you know, go through it, but they're just not ready for it yet. But now, you know, after looking at the games, maybe they're ready to do this.
Or they might be trying to bait out myRevenge. Think that the IO is actually carrying.
But what do you even do against that strat? Like, nobody lost. I mean, Secret lost.
Secret lost once.
Yeah, but
that's because it was not Ana playing IO.
Exactly. I mean, let's see if Blizzard can play good IO, but it might even just be, you know, this normal support IO, and then, I mean, it's still fun. Don't get me wrong to watch support IO. Support IO is pretty nice.
Yeah.
And we see Ember Tiny being picked up by myRevenge, which is, you know,
very strong opening though. Yeah, that's a very strong opening by myRevenge. And in this situation, they still can run the Tiny mid and the Ember safe lane, and they can run the Ember mid with a Tiny 4. I feel like Tiny has to be either 4 or mid. I feel like offlane is a bit weird, and so is the safe lane Tiny. I feel like safe lane Tiny does not get enough levels to push the pace. But a position 4, then you're okay off not getting that many levels and still being able to do a lot in the game. And IO Treant,
Treant is nice. You know, it's good against Ember. If you get that overgrowth on the Ember, he's usually just dead. You know, he can't do anything. He just dies, and then he gets followed up with the, you know, the root with his auto attack from the trees, and he's just, you know, dead. So that's always a good catch for the Ember Spirit, especially if he's pushing side lanes. You can always hide in the trees and get that off as well. So it's a decent hero, but it does, you know, his living growth does get removed by the Flame Guard very easily, as well as the Avalanche. But it's good with the IO, obviously.
For sure. And they have banned out the Darkseer, Alchemist, Split Breaker,
Alchemist? Oh, he does get... Okay. He did get banned in the first phase. I thought it was in the second phase.
No, that would have been weird.
Yeah, that would have been weird.
Yeah, myRevenge banning out that Grimstroke, Batrider, Jakiro. Jakiro, I feel like Jakiro, Batrider, both. I feel like they don't deserve a first phase ban.
Yeah, but I think myRevenge. I think, what do you call it? Global Esports plays the Batrider a lot. Like,
yeah, that's for sure.
Plays the hero a lot. And
Crowley is a beast on that hero.
Yeah, so I think they also want to remove just because. But I don't know about Jakiro.
Ja-
Like, Jakiro is like, maybe they have maybe they have like this strat that goes with Jakiro that they know of. Like Global Esports have this Jakiro strat that myRevenge knows of, and they're like, no, let's not give it to them. Something like that.
My strange thing is, Lezrak has been left open in probably all 3 games,
Yeah.
and he has not been picked up. I feel like that hero is way too strong to just completely ignore. There was a reason why this hero was first banned throughout almost the entire TI after group stages. Group stages he was open. We saw a lot of teams that are running group stages, and then people realized that this hero is pretty much broken, and then they completely banned it out afterwards. And both these 2 teams have just decided to let the Lezrak through.
I mean, they really like the Ember Spirit picked in all 3 games.
Yeah.
So Ember Spirit is probably. I mean, Leshrak is good, but if you cannot play him, if you're not confident with him, then I guess you just don't pick him.
Yeah, I guess. And then the win range, I think it's another one of Swifty's favorite heroes. He plays a very good win range. I was watching, before this series started, I was actually watching a previous replay where Global Esports was playing. And in that game, it felt like they were not actually even playing the game serious, but I felt like Swifty just completely destroyed that entire game with
Wind Ranger, yeah, against the Dragon Knight. Remembering it was very harsh, very harsh. Like, as soon as he got 6, he got Javelin, killed the Dragon Knight. Then again, as soon as he, Dragon Knight ulted to get the tower, just died. Again, he ulted to get the tower, died again. Very hard.
I can't remember the opposing team, but it was pretty much a stomp from Global Esports.
Yeah, and now we're coming into our second phase picks here. myRevenge gets the first pick. They've chomped down a lot of their reserve time. They only have 20 seconds left for this pick, and they have picked up probably 2 of their cores.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe not. You know. I mean, okay. I mean, I guess they cannot tiny mid since they got Ember Spirit. I mean, they could always Ember safe, but I think myRevenge wants to play the Ember mid. And Luna, what a weird pick.
Yeah, we haven't definitely not seen this hero for quite some time. Again, in TI they ran it once, I think, during the group stages, but that was about it. I haven't seen a team actually touch this hero, but I feel like it's a very underrated hero just because of his Luna Blessing doing so much for your stats on whichever stat, because it buffs whatever stat that you have. And I feel like that skill is very much underrated. And Luna can be good, especially given enough space. You give a free farm for 15 minutes, 16 minutes, he becomes very, very strong because you start flash farming so fast just due to moonglaves, and it is one of those heroes that flash farms really well. And technically myRevenge has heroes that can push the pace also. You have Ember Tiny to control that early game, basically take the fight to Global Esports, so it does open up space for Luna. But the downside is, if the Ember has a bad lane, this game is going to turn really, really bad for myRevenge, because Luna is 100% not going to have a really good lane, and Ember not having a good lane will in turn destroy Luna's lane as well.
And there we have the Shadow Demon is also
really good against Luna,
and good against Ember as well. Like wherever Ember goes on, you can always disrupt that person. And if they have living armor on top of that, and now you can see this IO is actually a carry pick.
Yeah.
Because you see the 2 supports being picked up, we see the IO. Now we just need to see what the IO wants to pair with.
Was it Shadow Demon? Oh no, that was the Earth Spirit mid that Thompson ran. I feel like I remember a game where the Shadow Demon was carried. These are a lot of greed from myRevenge.
But I think they picked the Bounty Hunter just so they can keep track of this Treant Protector.
Yeah.
So it's okay. It's really good against Treant, that's for sure. But right now, does it fit their lineup? Like, is this an offlane Bounty Hunter?
They can snowball though. Like, if they have a good laning stage with Bounty Hunter, the amount of gold intake that they will get, they can very well snowball.
Is this a support Luna then? Because
I feel like the Tiny is support here. But then Tiny Bounty support is a bit...
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So maybe this position 5 support Luna, offlane Bounty with position 4 Tiny could be something.
I mean, I have seen position 5 Lunas and 4 Lunas in pub games, but I haven't seen it in a professional game for sure.
Yeah. Oh, Tidehunter being picked up. Very strong hero here. Even against Luna. Luna has really bad attack range. If he gets hit by Anchor Smash, he doesn't get last hits. And then you can't really burst this guy down in the lane. You can Luna blessing him a few times, but Bounty's pretty happy, you know. He wants to just hit the Tidehunter, get gold, you know. So if it is a support Bounty, he's going to be pretty happy just getting gold from Tidehunter.
And just to talk about how bad Luna's attack range is, I just remember some. You know that Luna being a range hero, he cannot attack inside cogs. Like if you're outside cogs, you can't attack into cogs.
Very sad.
And he's a range hero. And TA with level 4, I think level 2 or 3, Cyblades has better attack range than Luna if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so this hero, that's why the hero is really bad as well in the laning phase, just because she has to put herself in like harm's way, even though she's a range hero. So because being a range hero, she has less HP, and she's just very easy to burst. So just being out of position most of the time in the lane, just because your hero has bad range.
But Luna Aghanim Scepter is so strong though.
That is strong, but they have like, if you Aghanim Scepter, you're planning to burst down one target, and then you have a Shadow Demon. So you can always disrupt that. Whoever gets, I mean, Shadow Demon might die for it, but if he has a Glimmer KP, he's fine, So there are a lot of ways to counter this Aghanim Scepter Luna if they plan to go that.
So myRevenge banned Bristleback, I think that's a very good ban.
TA pickup.
And Husker also banned out. So they banned out the Husker because they wanted to pick up the TA. And myRevenge couldn't let the Bristleback go just because they banned out the Husker, because in a bit of a, technically it would have been a really bad situation where you're trying to pick the, how you say it, the evil out of the two, the more evil out of the two. And I feel like Bristleback with IO is just destruction.
Yeah, it's very strong. But also, Wisp with the Treant Protector in the lane is also strong. You want Treant Protector to just go hit people, and you can always, you have movement speed, you have the IO third skill. Oh, and a Brood Mother! But it's against a Tide Hunter though.
But they have nothing, but it is Crowley.
Yeah, Crowley playing. Oh, so it might be a mid.
It is a mid IO because Blizzard is playing TA.
Okay.
It might be a mid IO.
But that's not good against the Brood Mother.
For sure.
And they didn't ban out the Brood Mother this time. Okay, so there's still the cheese is still there.
Cheese is still there.
Cheese is still there. So.
And mind you, myRevenge plays a really good Brood mid.
Yeah, they played a really good mid against SACO in the same game that they played the Chen. So they know how to play this hero. They've played it before. So Global Esports had to have expected it a little bit. But Crowley can always go mid, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like they'll have to switch out the lanes where Crowley goes mid, TA goes safe lane,
and IO goes
IO Treant.
I mean, that's not that bad to execute. It's like Tide Hunter against Brood is really good. That's one of the best matchups for Tide. Because he can always kill the spiders. He doesn't really die.
He doesn't die at all.
Doesn't die, period. Until Brood gets 6. Then obviously Tide is in a little bit of trouble. But if he does get the Kraken Shell and a few levels of Anchor Smash, then Brood cannot do anything. But the Brood can still farm. You net the jungle. Always kill the creep wave, kill the ancients, kill the small camp on your right, kill the creeps again. Rinse and repeat. So they can't really. Maybe they can contest it a little bit with the Treant blocking the camp with the sentry or something like that. But right now the Brood looks a little bit hard if the Tide goes mid. But other than that, it looks strong.
Yeah, if it's Blizzard mid on the TA is absolutely shut on by the Brood. There's nothing that the TA can really do in that lane. Maybe in the first 2 levels or 3 maximum, but after Brood builds its spiraling army.
Brood level 3. Okay, the lane is over.
And things. I want to lean towards myRevenge, but then I know the players from the side of Global Esports. And I feel like they are miles and bounds ahead. But
true.
The only advantage that myRevenge has.
They've lost the cheese before.
Exactly. This is cheese from myRevenge with the Brood Mother. And mind you, they run this cheese Brood Mother really well.
Oh, there's the zoomed in version of the loser.
I'm going to be so sad. After every TI, the saddest part for me is when they take out all the voice lines and all the stickers.
Once the Seb goes, it's going to be, and the TA does look to be going mid right now.
This is going to be great.
Oof.
Mind you, Blizzard was a previous mid player. He used to play mid.
But it is against the Brood Mother. So you do have to be a little bit. Oh, and we see an initiation here.
Onto the Tiny, tossing it back to the Luna. Luna is actually support here. We were expecting this.
Oh, and
Tiny getting blocked up by his own Luna. And they will get the runes on. Who got it? Bot lane? Wait.
The Wisp might go down here. The toss from Tiny.
They do have another Lucent Beam coming off cooldown.
But it does get cancelled by the Lucent Beam. And the Treant Protector might go down as well here.
This is really good start for myRevenge. The toss is there as well, and one more hit, and he
Feels like this happened before.
and that's how Global Esports lost the
Ember
game.
might be in trouble actually here. He does get 4 stacks of poison. He's an Ember Spirit, so he's not that tanky, not like the Spirit Breaker from the previous game. So he's gonna go down very easily here.
Yeah, he's 100% dead. 835 gets that return kill onto the Ember.
Oh, and this lane does not look good.
Yeah. I'm not trying, like I said, first 2 to 3 levels, the TA is going to be okay, then after that he's done for.
Yeah, I think he might just jungle like what we did against the Thompson against Monkey King.
Monkey King,
yeah. He just went to the jungle immediately and just started farming. But the thing is about Brood, you can put webs in the enemy jungle and make sure that they don't farm as well.
Exactly, and you contest that and then the TA is going to be very sad.
So it's, well, let's see how it goes for now. But right now it looks like this IO lane is going to be a little bit hard since they did lose 2 already.
Yeah.
And this Bounty Hunter off lane. It's gonna be a support Luna, I think, like I said. So
yeah, Nirvana is the support player for myRevenge, and he is going to play that support Luna position 4. And I feel like support Luna buffs your cores really well.
Yeah, and I think it's decent against IO specifically.
Yeah.
Just because you can cancel the tether with the Lucent Beam, but it's very specific. And I don't know if he has, like, you don't usually pick this Luna support, so I don't know how much practice he has cancelling the tether with the Lucent Beam. So let's see how it actually goes. Whisper's gonna have a hard time if they pull the lane because he cannot really last it on the tower. Can't really get a Quelling Blade, doesn't have that much damage.
My problem for Global Esports is whether 50 has actually played this carry IO, or is he trying it out because
he wants to go to loser bracket?
No, not because he wants to go to loser bracket, just because Anna tried it out.
Mother. Just needs to be a little bit
He needs to be careful in the first few levels.
For sure. He knows he can do well in this lane. He just needs to not give a kill early. That's it. Or TA getting the Arcane Rune top. It's gonna be pretty nice for her. She can always use more refractions in this lane. And now you see that she has a lot of broodlings up. It's gonna be harder for this TA. Look, all the refractions gone immediately.
Immediately refractions gone, but he's going to be able to farm a little bit of those broodlings with those side blades.
And with that Arcane Rune, she's pretty happy.
A top lane, the Ember Spirit
He's
in
dead.
a world of trouble. He is dead. The Tiny with that stun is not going to be able to save the Ember. Ember going down twice, and now
Oh, the Tiny.
toss back onto this. Oh, it's so low. He almost had him. Can the Ember get us? Nah.
That was almost a really good play by the Tiny, tossing him back to the range creep, but just the
I mean, no one would have questioned him if he had got the kill, but the fact that he didn't get it, it feels like he just fed an extra kill there in that lane.
Yeah, I mean, not much that he can do there. And the TA actually doing a pretty decent job in this lane. We thought it would be a lot worse.
Yeah.
And you do see the 33 CS from the TA, but that's not the real CS here.
Yeah.
It's a lot of broodlings, and broodlings don't do any damage. I mean, don't give any gold this early in the game.
Yeah, it's very minimal, and I didn't really realize how strong these side blades are.
And the Tiny is rotating to the mid lane, so if they get a kill on Blizzard, he's going
they're going to break the TA's
refraction
right now. He needs to go right now, but the Brood is so low, tossed back, and is it going to be enough though? The body blocks from the Tiny, what a lovely play. The refraction is there, he's going to pop it, but the refraction immediately gone, and they will get that kill onto the TA, and this is the level of Tiny play that we want. We want that Jirax level Tiny who roams around, keep tossing people back and forth and creating havoc in the map, and that was very much needed for the Brood. I felt like Brood was falling behind in a lane that he shouldn't be falling behind.
Yeah, and I think it was okay up until that point. Like the Brood would have got a lot stronger in like the next minute or so.
Yeah.
But just making sure that the Brood gets a good lane is always nice, you know. Because the bot lane Bounty Hunter is not doing too hot, so you want this Brood to, you know, force people to come into his lane. The
Treant is in a world of trouble here. If they can get one more hit, and yes, the Lucent Beam is going to clean up that kill.
Oh, it's Luna playing a little bit aggressive here. Just
Luna with the immediate loser sticker in front of their faces. I love these memes, man.
Yeah, and you can see this lane is going a little bit better now. Well, after getting that kill, the IO and the Bounty are neck and neck in farm. But it's gonna be a little bit more IO favored since he just needs to get HOTD and go jungle after this.
Yeah.
You know, he just wants to get that early farm and then just go ahead into the jungle and start farming as much as he can while the Treant roams around. And Bounty Hunter wants to
They
get a
are
lot more
trying to go for this rune. Can he steal this rune though?
Oh, the
He
sentry down?
planted the sentry, and the Bounty Hunter will get the rune, and he will be able to get away as well. Oh, that's such a feels bad for Global Esports because they wasted the sentry
and
for that.
lane, the Tiny gets the rune as well. Tiny he'll be in a bit of trouble here. He might go down to the Shadow Demon Poison. He's running towards the shrine. He might.
He's not going to pop it.
No.
He's not going to pop the shrine. It is too much of value to just pop it for himself, especially since he had used most of his mana anyway. He would have thought he
to die and just come back, respawn and come back, I guess. Yeah.
You got a rune. You're happy with it. It's like okay.
Yeah, and Shadow Demon getting the kill. I can't remember who got the kill. I didn't really watch that.
It was Shadow Demon.
Yeah, so if he gets the kill, it's also it's fine, whatever.
Yeah.
And you see the net worth difference being only around 500 here. Might be a little bit more than that, but it's not that much. You know, it's pretty even. And myRevenge really wants to be ahead in this game. This Broodmother pick. So Broodmother, you know, he had the Soul Ring. He has the Basilius, you know, he wants to get, as soon as he gets the Basilius, he's probably going to play a little bit more aggressive, in this lane. So hopefully he's going to start showing his brood powers in this lane. Just being a brood is so scary against in a good matchup.
And Tiny technically created a lot of space for the Ember with that movement because now the Ember has actually caught up 26 last sets. We should ignore the TA's last sets because it's anyway going to be overly boosted with those broodlings that he has been getting.
When he doesn't get the dodge on the Crowley's Anchor Smash, you really need to dodge those.
Yeah.
That's why the lane is pretty good against the Tide Hunter if you can dodge the Anchor Smashes. As you saw at TI when they played against Mind Control and Anna played Ember, he always got the dodge. Oh, and the mid lane.
Mid lane again, Shadow Demon in a world of her TA had actually gone down as well, and they will get the kill off onto the Shadow Demon. So this is what you don't want happening, the Broodmother completely running over you.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what is happening. And I feel like myRevenge...
Oh! Luna, not noticing how low she was, but she does survive.
Yeah, and this is the thing, right? Like myRevenge, if they pull off this cheese stretch really well.
Yeah.
And I'm saying cheese because if you did not realize, their two supports are extremely greedy. You have a Tiny and Luna.
So greedy, like Luna, right? You have a Luna, and then they're just. Like you know that it's not that good. Like okay, Luna support is whatever. It's not amazing or anything. But you can't really do anything when you have such a good matchup mid, and you start forcing your supports away from the like the Tide Hunter is alone now, and Ember's fine with that, and Tide Hunter is also fine with that. But Shadow Demon can't really help the TA whatsoever in this lane.
Yeah, if the Shadow Demon tip is meant to help the TA, they both of them die.
Yeah, that's literally what happened just recently. Oh, and Crowley might be in a bit of trouble again.
Oh, touchback as well, but near the Ember, and they will be able to clean this Tide Hunter up.
Even the Tide Hunter now having a rough time, and you really don't want this happening on your for your offlane as well, right? You want this Ember Spirit being shut down here, especially since the Broodmother lane is going too well for the enemy team. You want to win something, and this IO lane is pretty mediocre, right? You can't do too much in this lane. You can't expect the IO to do too much until he gets his, Aghanim Scepter.
And I feel like think about the
damage though.
Thing about the carry IO is that you in general have needs to be careful. Want to turn around. Because the Tiny is there, can the Tiny get the toss back? He does have the Avalanche, but there is not enough mana for both.
Yeah, I don't think he wanted to anyway, because the Brood was anyway low. Like he didn't have spiders as well.
Yeah.
So he was just like, it's fine. They're not really sad about that. They're like, it's okay. And we see a ward instantly being dropped here by the Tiny just to remove those traps in the lane because they're killing the spiders.
Yeah.
So you want, if you have that vision of the traps in the lane, then you're okay. Yeah, you just don't want the traps to kill the spiders. And if that's okay, then you can always dive this TA however much.
Oh, Brood finds a region rune. Tiny scouted that out.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, and the bot lane? Bounty Hunter is going on the IO here. He might get.
IO needs to be careful. He does have a couple of more hits. Does have the toss up and ready. The
Luna just not. Oh, the
Luna with the Eclipse, but is it enough? They might actually get 50 and they will clean him up. And the Tiny joins the fight as well with that avalanche onto the
Treant disruption is actually saving the Bounty Hunter.
He's gone as well. This is the pace that myRevenge wanted to play at, and that was, mind you, 2 track kills.
That disruption actually saved the Bounty Hunter there because the overgrowth from Treant I think it was an overgrowth or right click, whichever one.
That is right click, not overgrowth.
Yeah,
I don't think it's
whichever one it was, it was gonna kill him there. One more hit from Trian, and yeah, that was Shadowman saving the Bounty Hunter. Very unfortunate. You want to get that return kill onto Bounty Hunter, but Bounty Hunter is trying to snowball with those track kills.
It's just not working. And TA last hits. I keep
picked up.
I keep looking at last hits, and then the TA has like 140. I'm like, Jesus, this guy is farmed. Then I realize it's Broodlings.
Yeah. Broodling's just not giving as much, and we can see TA farming a double stack, I guess. Just getting as much gold as he can. Oh, and we see a lot of stacks. Oh, Ember Spirit in the jungle.
Of course, he has a remnant back.
Yeah.
He was trying to clean up these stacks that they had ready, and immediate deworth there by the Treant as well. And TA is actually pretty farmed. He is 4.5k net worth. He has cleaned up a couple of stacks. He has got Broodlings.
Yeah, the stacks helping him a lot there.
Yeah, and meanwhile Shadow Demon needs to be careful because there is a Bounty Hunter coming in as well, and track kills, and now the IO might be in trouble as well. The Tiny coming in from the side. IO does not have a tether target. The Avalanche is going to be there. The relocate cancelled immediately, and that's another track kill going for myRevenge. Playing a very fast-paced game. This is the the pace of play that they need to happen with this Luna lineup, especially when you have a Bounty Hunter.
Even without the Luna, just against this IO, you want to kill this IO a lot, you know. And this TA, you want this TA to die as well, but right now the Tide Hunter joining the TA in the mid lane, Brood can't do anything against the Tide.
Yeah.
Can't really.
I mean that's the only reason that Nisha on his IO lost. Due to the other team just playing a very fast-paced game, and Liquid tried to do it to OG as well.
Jumping in, double Remnant
into that. But the Ravage should turn it around. The Broodmother needs to be careful, but the Bounty Hunter wants to join the fight as well. They are chasing for more. There's Sun Toss actually onto the TA as well as the Tide Hunter. Ember still fighting up against everyone, and he is still surviving, but now the Shadow Demon comes in with the disruption onto the Broodmother. Broodmother falling down low. He has popped his ultimate as well. Tiny. Oh, he goes down, and now the Luna with that Eclipse onto everyone here. Ember needs to be careful. The Bounty Hunter with the toss onto the TA, who does get off his refraction, but in the end, just two heroes going down.
Here, Tiny.
Bounty Hunter, that was so close, and he will go down, and just pushing the luck a little bit too much there with that purge from the Shadow Demon, bringing down the Ember as well. It was really good for them until they lost those two heroes.
Yeah, and losing those two heroes means a big deal for this TA and IO, because they want to start, you know, getting these objectives, getting the objective that Broodmother kind of needs to farm. You know, if you don't have webs in your tower, you can't really TP and just get fast. You have to always put TPs up to a certain point, and you can't really put them aggressively. And you see the fight again here.
A really good Ravage, but the thing is, there's so much of pressure, right? You have Eclipse, you have Tiny, you have so much of pressure, but the thing is, they are not focusing the TA, right? TA is not dying. They take down the Tide Hunter and they take down one of the supports, but that's about it. And the Shadow Demon and the TA both surviving. They're just really not helping.
Yeah, this Eclipse looked okay, but after he went into the trees, he couldn't finish the kill on the Shadow Demon, and then it just, you know, turned. Like now, like at this point, they can get back and be happy with what they had got, but they went in again, and this IO come with the newly purchased HOTD and the spirits, just kills them all.
I mean,
top lane.
Oh, top lane, the Luna is in a world of hurt here. The TA jumps in as well with that meld hit. Easy cleanup kill. This is the thing, like the downside of putting so much pressure is you need to know the right amount of pressure to apply, and right there we saw myRevenge just thinking they had so much to go into.
I mean, Io might be in trouble here in this jungle. Ember Spirit jumping in.
Io is dead here for sure. Yeah. He gets cleaned up in that jungle, bottom lane, in the bottom jungle at least. Disruption onto the Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter needs to be careful. Actually, it's the Tiny, but the Ember jumps in onto the Shadow Demon, will get taken down. Tiny still surviving, but they want to try and get this Treant as well. Treant gets steering chained up, but where is the damage? The Bounty Hunter comes in as well. He does have a toss. The Ember can clean it up, and with that Remnant, actually the Slide of Fist, he is going to dodge most of the damage from the tower. And they still haven't taken tier 1 tower mid.
They're gonna do it now. They have a lot of Broodlings, they have a lot of heroes here. They're gonna immediately take this tower as fast as they can. Get more map control for this Broodmother to assert her dominance in this mid lane and make sure she can control the jungle so the IO can't really farm there.
Yeah, but this TA is extremely fat, sitting at 7.5k net worth, picked up a Desolator, going for the Dragon Lance as well. He really doesn't want to go for Blink Dagger this game because your refraction is always going to get cancelled and you won't be able to blink out because his refraction is going to be always instant cancelled. You
want to hit those broodlings as much as you can. So you're getting that longer range to make sure you can hit the broodlings as much as you can, just to make sure they die as fast as possible. Like before they get on top of you, maybe, but it's still hard to do that. It's really good against Ember as well, since he plays a little bit far behind. So it gives her more stats as well. But I don't. Oh, they do deward the ward, so Bounty Hunter knows immediately that he can't really go in that area. Gets the track off.
Track off onto the TA. The thing is, I feel like they do have track, but Blizzard, like. There's a Bounty Hunter, there's a Luna. All these guys are going to be getting gold off this track, and IO really hasn't found his stride here, sitting at only 4.4k net worth, and the TA has a lot of weight on his shoulders. Like Blizzard needs to carry this game for the next at least 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes at least minimum, for the IO to come online. And IO won't come online until he has Ags. Like basically, don't do anything with the carry IO until you get Ags.
And Broodmother. She's the Bounty Hunter might be in trouble.
Bounty Hunter runs into Sentry Ward here, but is there going to be more sentries? Is there a dust? Oh, Ravage going to be used, and it does get hit. The dust gets popped as well, and the Bounty Hunter will get cleaned up here, but creating a lot of space, mind you, because everyone else is farming in the meantime. Meanwhile, the TA runs in to the Bounty runes. They will catch the Ember with that overgrowth from. And the Tiny will also get caught. The trap is going to be there. Oh, this is really bad for myRevenge. The IO relocating in as well, and they will clean this kill up. Double kill for Blizzard on a killing spree. Things are just turning on its head, and Global Esports looking to take control of this game right now.
Yeah, I feel like this Broodmother isn't applying enough pressure. You know? Yeah. I feel like, the tide is mid now, so they can't really push. But early game, a little bit early in this game, maybe he needed to not kill as many spiderlings, and try and control the lane a little bit better against the TA to make sure he has some pressure coming into this mid game. But right now against this Tide Hunter, he doesn't really have enough. He probably needs the BKB. Oh, and we see the Tiny also really needs to put. He did a lot of pressure. He pressured the TA quite a bit, but. He needs to make more plays. I feel like he's made a lot of plays this game, but he needs to do a little bit.
And
more.
This is when they were fighting for the runes here. The TA also actually this was the this is a minute one when they got the first double kill onto the TA as well as the Treant.
This is really what set the pace for the Bounty Hunter lane. It went pretty well too. Like after with the Luna, they got a few kills as well onto the IO, and the IO got delayed in his item timing quite a bit because of this.
What is interesting to see is I feel like we need to take a look at how well the Luna has been doing majorly due to the fact that the Ags timing.
You don't see it, right? The support Luna.
Support Luna, like what is he actually going to go for this early on, and what is Ags timing going to be like? Because as a support Luna, I feel like there's nothing else that you get. Might get a drums or something to just help your team.
Yeah, Ember got the drums, I think. So Luma might not get the drums. I see the beautiful toss back onto the TA to get the kill here, and the body blocks as well coming out from the Tiny. Just making sure to try and shut down the TA's farm, but those stacks coming out from the supports of the Radiant team really got the TA back into this game.
What do you think the game time looks like right now? Who do you think the game is favored more towards?
I think it's favoring Global Esports quite a bit now. I mean, TA has this timing. So she is going to be strong as soon as IO gets Scepter as well as TA gets her BKB. So after the Dragonlance, she's probably going to go BKB, I think. Maybe not. Maybe she wants to get Hurricane Pike just for the Brood, since when the Brood uses ulti and comes at you, you want to just run most of the time. So if she does get the Hurricane Pike as well as the IO getting Scepter, then she might be just aiming for that timing. And then after that, maybe getting the T1 towers and the T2 towers, and then going Roshan, because this TA is gonna fall off in the late game. Late game meaning 40 minutes until she hits her 25 and gets the Melt Bash. After she gets the Melt Bash, she'll be strong again. Until that, she really needs to, get a decent mid game so she can transition into 25 a lot sooner than normal.
The plus point is though that the Brood did have a diffuser picked up, so even if the TA is trying to Hurricane Pike herself away and get out, you can always chase. chase with the diffuser blade. This was a really good fight. It started out really well for myRevenge, and then they kind of overextended and overplayed their hand technically.
Yeah.
But otherwise,
this Tiny is playing really well, honestly. And we're back into the game here, and we're just coming back to Tiny and the Ember Spirit dying in the bottom lane for the runes. Just to have a small recap of what happened right before.
They're still ahead though.
Yeah, they're still ahead, of course, because of this Brood Mother, and you know the many kills Bounty Hunter got with the track. So they are ahead, and Bounty Hunter has picked up his hood. So he is pretty tanky, and almost Solar Crest. Solar Crest is a big item.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good.
Near bottom lane, the TA as well as the Treant will get taken out. The TA trying to turn things around, but he will get taken down. Meanwhile, they will be able to chase down the Treant Protector as well. Ember coming in with that slide of his very much needed kills, and both, mind you, track kills.
Yeah.
Going in favor of myRevenge. What do you think this IO brings to the table? I mean, we have seen IO carry.
Yeah.
Everyone has seen, everyone knows about it. But past around, you know, like past 30 minutes, 32 minutes, 35 minutes, like what does IO really bring into the table? You're running into Ember, you're running into Brood Mother, you're running into a position for Luna, who is going to be getting a lot of farm just because of the track kills. And I feel like later this game goes, I favor myRevenge drop because TA is not an ultra late game hero.
Yeah, like the timing from 40 minutes after like
35-40.
Yeah, 35-40. TA is still not that strong until she hits 25. So if they can, you know, delay the game, like Brood Mother also is not that strong.
Oh, Brood Mother actually. Oh.
Yeah.
Just
Tiny jumping in, finishing off the Shadow Demon there.
And meanwhile, they might actually look for more. Ember needs to be careful. The TA is looking for the Luna. Luna will get slowed up by that trap, and he is trying to eat his way through, but he will get taken down here.
They don't really care.
I mean, Gush plus TA is so good.
Yeah. A lot of minus armor.
Yeah. They did get a return kill onto the Bounty Hunter as well as the Luna, so Shadow Demon is going to be happy with that.
Yeah, that's a good couple of kills getting that Global Esports just got, and this TA needs to transition this into the bottom tower or something that they do. Bounty, the Brood Mother.
Brood Mother tied Hunter looking to clean up.
Tiny
those.
Also getting scouted out by the Treant Protector. Tiny might be in a little bit of trouble here.
Oh, lovely. Oh, disruption there by the Shadow Demon, and Tiny will get cleaned up as well. I'm not sure what he was doing. They just lost two heroes there.
Yeah, maybe they wanted to make sure the ward doesn't get taken down. Like, as you can see, the Dire ward being, like, you know, in this vicinity. They thought they can control the jungle here, but
so they're giving a lot of space for the IO though. Like these heroes are running as 4, giving IO a lot of space.
Yeah, not only that, it feels like the kills that they're getting on myRevenge are crucial kills onto the Bounty Hunter, onto this Tiny, you know, the roaming, the guys that want to be on the map creating pressure without showing, you know. You don't want this IO.
Oh, they are actually going to jump in onto the Brood Mother. The Brood Mother will get taken out here most probably, but he does pop the ultimate surviving for the time being, but it is not going to be enough. He will get taken down. Blizzard with a good breathe there.
Immediately into Roshan, which is exactly the right play to make right now, because they really need to start pressuring with this TA. TA is really strong right now, and she's only going to get weaker after this. Maybe she'll get hit another power strike with the BKB. Not too sure if she has it yet, but if she does hit the BKB power strike, she'll be a little bit more stronger, like against Clips, against Tiny Toss, against the Ember Spirit, most of his, all of his remnant damage and his magic damage, and we see a Purge creep on the IOs. That's pretty good against Ember. As well as, I'm not too sure if you can use that.
Tiny, you cannot afford to die here. Tossing back the Tidehunter, and whoa, that was really good play though actually, because now the Tidehunter is down for 40 minutes, 40 seconds. That's where, because now actually Global Esports can push with this Aegis.
They might actually be in trouble here with the Bounty Hunter.
They will get the track on to, lovely pick off there onto the Shadow Demon. They get 2 heroes, and now the Bounty Hunter will get taken down. But the Tiny with the avalanche saving him for the time being. But in the end, the Bounty Hunter will go down, and meanwhile the Ember trying to kill off the IO, not being able to do that. There is no blink on the TA.
Yeah, but the Ember is healing up at the shrine, so they might be able to.
Tiny is still looking. He's trying to jump in for a toss back.
Oh, the trap though.
Trap. Tiny is going to be in trouble. He does have the avalanche, but it is not going to be enough. But now the Luna coming in with the Eclipse. The TA also needs to be careful, and they want this IO so badly. They will get the IO as well, and now to look for the TA. The Bounty Hunter is joining the fight as well, and he will get Searing chained up.
Yeah, but
Broodmother wants to join the fight as well, and that is Age is gone, and now the Titan still does not have Ravage. The defensive blade going to be used on the Titan, trying to slow the place down for the time being. The trap is going to be down to the Bounty Hunter as well, and the Bounty Hunter gets hit by the second trap, and he will get taken down here. Wow, that's so much of damage with that gush.
They did remove the Aegis though.
Yeah.
So that's one of the...
Oh no, if Broodmother dies here though. Oh, playing around on the cliff, but it is... that was such a weird play for me.
Yeah.
Like, he should have got out like long
Why
time
was
back.
he? I don't know why he was there, but unfortunately does go down here, and it gives a really good opportunity for Global Esports to actually apply some pressure on these objectives if they, really want to. They're down for 40 seconds on Bounty Hunter since he did die back in that fight. And Broodmother's done as well, not creating pressure on the map, but right now we can see this Ember can still push out lanes, but he should be careful for this tree and overgrowth if he's staying near the trees, because if he does get caught to it, he'll just get 2 hits from TA and
Yeah,
he's probably
for
dead.
sure.
Yeah.
But he really does not have a lot of armor.
Immediate smoke when the Bounty Hunter and Brood are dead, so this is a bit of a ballsy play coming out from the Tiny and Ember here. They just want to find a quick kill onto the IO maybe.
This is like a OG level play. You lose one hero, immediately smoke. Guys, we are going to take this fight 4v5.
Yeah, and you can see the top jungle is being controlled by Global
This is a
Esports.
good read though. If they can find the IO.
Yeah, it might be pretty good here, but he is alone now on the Tiny. And top lane, Broodmother dying one more time. Oh,
That is so many immediate tips. 4 people tipping the Broodmother. It's all 5 actually, all 5.
Oh, good.
At least battle pass levels.
Battle pass level, yeah. But they are going to look to go high ground here. They don't have Aegis anymore. It was popped in the last fight, so it's going to be a little bit of a harder fight coming in.
Oh my god, the Ravage onto the Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter will get immediately taken down. And
They know the Bounty Hunter doesn't have buyback.
buyback, exactly. That was such a good Ravage by Crowley, understanding and reading the situation really well. And that's the offlane hero. They lost 2 of their cores, and they're going to be able to put so much of pressure onto this tier 3.
They might be able to just take the tier 3. The Rax might be a little bit of another issue.
Oh, lovely Tiny, and with that Eclipse from the Luna, but the TA does have BKB now. He's going to try and turn around on the Tiny will get taken down. He does not have buyback, but now the Broodmother is back, but can he do anything? Ember is still trying to control everything.
Broodmother is not that strong.
Yeah, without creeps for sure. He does not have his broodlings, and they will be able to clean out that range back. They're looking for the melee as well, and they will bring down the melee most probably. The Bounty, the Broodmother needs to be careful with the damage with that gush. It's just insane.
Bounty Hunter coming back into the fight here, getting the track onto the Shadow Demon.
Blizzard looking to go back in again.
They have the sentry ward down, so they do see the Bounty Hunter.
That is Broodmother going down in quick suck. Like, his spawn died.
Was it
3 times?
3 times?
Yeah, 3 times.
That's not good.
We want a Broodmother to be...
That's just a dead hero now, I feel like.
Yeah. It just does not... Like, at this point, you want the Broodmother to be at least...
You want him to have 3
BKBs.
items.
Yeah, you want him to have the BKB, the diffuser, maybe +1 item there, or at least halfway towards that next item. You don't want the Brood to be this far behind, and especially with the Crystal is now picked up on the TA as well. BKB Crystal is a Dragon Lance. This guy is so fat.
Yeah.
And even the Shadow Demon right now, he has 4 stuff. He has Ether Lens. He's going to have the long range save. The tables have completely turned. 4K network lead going in favor of Global Esports.
Experience lead coming out from Global Esports, almost 10k. That's a huge issue for myRevenge right now.
Yeah.
Because the TA, she's gonna get her 25 soon, and then it's gonna be almost impossible to deal with the TA.
Luna has eggs.
Yeah, she did last fight, but since the TA did have BKB, it was not really effective.
I feel like now it's all about turtling, because you don't have your BKBs and the opposing team has their BKBs. Mind you, IO has been silent this entire time. IO is still farming. Should have his
not much impact most of the game, other than the double kill mid. And the TA looks like he's doing quite a bit in this game. 12, 3, and 7. Right.
He's doing most of the heavy lifting.
Yeah, and IO does need some time to come online, and we can see the Ember Spirit farming the enemy jungle right now. Safest place to farm, obviously, since he knows his jungle is occupied by the enemy right now. So he's just farming as much as he can, trying to get his next item here, but I don't know if it's gonna be enough. This TA is already level 20.
Do you think Broodmother going Axe at all at this point is...
I mean, she needs to, right? That item is way too good not to get. They don't see the treant right now. It is a Radiant Sentry ward and a ward as well. So they do see this Broodmother on this high ground here. They might decide to get overgrowth.
Converging on him, and the overgrowth is still... He's going to hold it on for the time being. He's not even needed.
No, he does use it.
Oh, yeah, he did use
but,
it.
Yeah, Broodmother, really good ward by the way.
Yep.
Have to eat a tree to get that ward on the cliff there. And making sure they do get the Broodmother kill in the end, and now they're gonna look to go high ground. Broodmother does have buyback though.
And IO has Axe. They are in a really good position to just finish this game completely.
Yeah. Crowley does have his Ravage up, so they are pretty happy going high ground right now. The only thing they don't have is Overgrowth and Shadow Demon Purge, but that's really not that big of a deal right now. IO coming in, he does have the Scepter right now, so he has unlimited spirits, and he always going for a heart, of course. Make sure whoever he's tethered to is always regenerating up a lot, and Ember Spirit just trying to do as much damage as they can, but Blizzard,
oh my god,
half
that
HP.
damage. That's so much of damage onto the Ember, and Ember has to go back to base basically and heal up.
Trying to get a
Tiny TA, toss back near to the Luna, but he pops his BKB. Tiny is now going to go down. He should have his buyback. No, he does not have buyback as well. I mean, sweet play, but when the TA has BKB like that, and there is nothing to really
go through BKB.
Yeah.
I mean, he did force BKB though, so they do have Eclipse and everything ready to go onto the.
He's going to use it, the Eclipse, but it's just not doing enough with the Refraction. Bounty Hunter will get taken out here as well without buyback. TA still surviving. IO keeping him healed up. The Broodmother goes down as well. Immediate tips. I feel like this game is all over. I mean, it looked good for myRevenge for some time, but
I think the draft was really good by myRevenge here. They had, I mean, other than the Luna support, which I really didn't get. Oh, Shadow Demon is taken out, but Ember is gonna.
Yeah, Ember is dead. He does not have buyback either, down for 73 seconds. Broodmother is going to come back in 20, but what is he actually going to do?
No, I can't. Broodmother needs at least one more item to be useful in this game. He needs, and there we go. The GG is called by
Axel,
yeah.
Axel calling GG, so myRevenge will be falling down to the lower bracket. Global Esports, like expected, a bit of a hiccup in the first game, but we'll be moving forward into the semi-finals of this tournament, and they really deserve to be here.
I think it was a good draft by myRevenge, but Broodmother just didn't perform, I feel like.
Yeah. Broodmother really needed to step it up that game, and I feel like Blizzard did a really good job of keeping him at bay and controlling him that entire time. And maybe if myRevenge had a different hero than Luna, I felt like it was good, but it's just, come on man, it's a Luna, what are you going to do other than your ult?
You could have kept the Tiny in the offlane and maybe got a really good position 5.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been a lot better. Maybe to shut down this year, maybe a Jakiro. Oh, that's why the Jakiro was banned out though.
True.
But they banned it out themselves. I
mean, myRevenge really does have the potential. They just need to take that extra step, and I feel like their players individually needs to improve quite a bit more to match up to Global Esports, because I feel like even in winning matchups, Global Esports are breaking even or doing okay or better even. Especially Blizzard, we saw even in a very losing matchup for him, he was doing really okay in that lane, which shouldn't happen. And that just goes to show the skill difference between this guy and the opposing side mid. And I feel like Blizzard was on a whole other scale.
Yeah.
And I think they definitely have the potential. myRevenge, I feel like that's a team that has a lot of potential.
So guys, we will take a short break and we'll be back with the post-match interview very soon.
Hi guys, so we are back, and we were just talking about the game and how the game did progress. I feel like myRevenge, they needed another hero other than Luna.
Yeah.
If they had one hero other than Luna, and the Brood lane had to completely demolish that TA. The fact that Global Esports were able to put the TA mid without any fear and not have the Titan in the mid.
That showed the confidence in them. You know, it showed that they have an idea of how to lane that matchup. Maybe Blizzard actually favors the TA versus the Broodmother.
Yeah.
But in the end, Broodmother he can always farm the jungle and make sure he gets farm.
Yeah.
And Tiny rotated twice, got the TA 2 kills as well on the TA, but the TA still had high net worth just because of the stacks. But I feel like Broodmother could have pressured her a little bit more since they did rotate onto the TA and kill her twice. I felt like he had a little bit of space, even if the matchup was kind of a losing matchup just because of the outplays by killing the spiders a lot.
Yep.
He could have done a little bit more, I feel like, in that game.
For sure, and I think the mistakes, the aggression that they were putting. The thing about playing that level of aggression is you can't afford to overextend and kill yourselves.
Exactly.
And overextending costed them a lot, because when you're playing that aggressive, you're not farming as well as the opposing team.
Yeah.
Because that team is going to be safely farming, and if you're putting that level of aggression, you can't just be happy with a support kill.
Yeah, you need to have that, they were really depending on the bounty hunter track.
Yeah.
And they did get the track goal quite a bit, but then as soon as they fed away the kill that they really didn't need to at all, they could have easily gotten back in quite a few occasions.
I feel like that was the tipping point where the TA got quite a bit of experience as well as gold with that kill on the bounty.
And also, like, when they were contesting the bounty runes, the overgrowth onto the Ember and the Tiny and getting those 2 kills there was also a big reason why the TA had just snowballed after those 2 engagements.
Yeah, for sure. Little mistakes, but of course, myRevenge is definitely not out of the tournament. There is a loser bracket also, and we have seen time and time again a lot of really good teams, not just in TI level but in other tournaments as well, especially with the caliber of players here. They have the potential to make that run through the low bracket.
It's very true. Like, a lot of the players here are very skilled, and obviously the tournament MVP award is gonna be the Intel NUC. It's also called the Hades Canyon. Cool name.
Yep.
It has a chip which has the Intel and the graphics card implemented in one, which makes it so small and compact and easy to take around with you.
Yeah, I mean, i7 8th Gen with a 1 TB SSD, 16 GB RAM. I mean, this device is insane with all the ports possibly under the sun you could want. I mean, like, what do you use this for? You have like Thunderbolt, you have USB-C, you have USB 3.0, you have the Ethernet ports, you have everything that you could possibly need in a computer built compactly into this small device, and with a really cool logo when the lights switch on as well. I mean, that's like Gamer's logo kind of thing that is on screen. And if anyone wants a reminder of how compact this device is, this is the size of the device. And it's not a primitive level specs. I mean, it's a gaming grade device.
You can play any games you want on this.
Yes, I mean, a gaming grade device where you can just carry it in your hand and take it to college with you, take it to work, just plug it into a display, and you're good to go.
Like, even if you want to do video editing or something.
Exactly.
Like, really,
I mean, i7 8th Gen with 16 GB RAM, you can 100% do video editing and rendering and stuff like that. And I think we did a review on this as well. I mean, there was so much of stuff, good things about the internet, and it's the next generation of gaming devices that you can carry around with you. And tournament MVP is going to be walking away with it. My God, that guy is going to be happy.
Not only that, he's also going to be walking home with the HyperX Cloud 2 headset.
And the winning prize.
And
prize money.
Best support player is going to get one. Best carry player, the Unkillable award as well. And also the Gamer's Choice winner, which will be voted by you guys at home who are watching this. They're all going to get a HyperX Cloud 2 headset. Yeah, a lot of awards being given away by in-game esports, doing a lot of work to make sure that South Asian esports takes that next leap forward, because we really haven't seen a South Asian team taking that next leap forward, and mainly due to the fact that there was a lot of tournaments which are not there, which caters to bringing out the competitiveness. And looking at the bracket right now, we have Global Esports in the semifinals. We have the Recreational Hazards versus Portal Esports tomorrow. I think that game is happening. So that's going to be the next match in the upper bracket, and the loser of that will of course be playing against myRevenge in that loser bracket game number 1. So a lot of interesting matches coming up, and of course a lot of awards will be given away at the end of the tournament as well. So guys, that's going to be it from us for today. Hope you catch us tomorrow. We'll see you soon. For sure. Good night, guys.
Let's get moving.